And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for being here tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over social media, all over mainstream media, everywhere. There's a whole lot going on. Abraham Lincoln apparently is not woke enough, so you got to remove his statue. Okay, freeing the slaves and getting murdered for freeing the slaves is not really enough, so I guess you got to remove his statue. It's causing people harm. It's causing distress out there in Boston for some odd reason. Also, they identified a Nashville Rv Bomber, talking about, oh, he was a loner. He just played with his pets, all this, that, and the third. Well, he had a whole girlfriend last year, and she warned the FBI about this man making bombs in his RV, and the police went to his house, but for some reason they were not able to catch him. But they sent the entire force down, what was that, Alabama somewhere, to investigate the whole the garage pool when it comes to Bubba Smouye, aka Bubba Wallace. Remember that whole kerfuffle? We'll talk about that also. The TikTok nurses are back in full effect, and they're doing entire dance routines, talking about the entire hospital staff, the nurses, the patients, the doctors, the janitorial staff, the front office, the call center. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. Thank y'all. You guys are the best. Shout out to Hudson Jackson, who says, I just want to wish Happy New Year's in advance. Hopefully your New Year's resolution is either in 4K or 8K. Hilarious. But thank y'all for being here. We got a whole lot going on. Talking about the Lincoln statues being removed, the Nashville Rv Bomber, the TikTok nurses, and we got to talk about Hilaria Baldwin. That's to me, it's kind of a funny story more than anything else. Yet another Rachel Dolezal, Sean King, Jessica Krug. Another person, with identity issues. Matter of fact, I think I want to start with Hilaria Baldwin just for a funny icebreaker, shall we? Because there's a whole lot going on, with me and everything else. But I want to start with something funny because this story is crazy. Now, Alec Baldwin is married to a lady by the name of Hilaria Baldwin. Well, actually, her name is Hillary. We'll talk about her name in a little bit. But she goes by Hilaria. Or Hilaria. I don't know how you pronounce it. I don't know how you pronounce it. But anyway, Hilaria Baldwin, right? And her whole story is that she's Spanish, like from Spain. So she's Hispanic, got a fake Spanish accent, all this and that. That's her whole thing, right? All of it is fake. The name is fake. Her name is not Hilaria. Her name is Hillary. Matter of fact, hold on. What's her actual birth name? Hillary, and then what was it's like a hyphenated. Okay, her full birth name was Hillary Hayward Thomas. So you're talking about just a regular white person. Ain't no wrong being white and American, but she wants to be a white Spaniard. For what reason? I have no idea. But you know what? I think I do understand. But I'll get to that in a little bit. Let's talk about Hilaria Baldwin right quick. Now, she's married to Alec Baldwin, and it's been kind of this whole thing about her pretending to be Hispanic. She was on a television show, and she was doing some kind of cooking recipe, and she was reaching for a cucumber, and then she was like, how do you say in English? Oh, cucumber. It's like, what? What do you mean, how do you say in English? You know how to speak English. You're from Boston, Massachusetts. You're an American, born in America, raised in America. You know how to speak English very well. You don't speak Spanish, really. You might be able to say, como estás, muy bien, all this, that, and the third, but you're not a native Spanish speaker. You are a regular American, just like me. So why try to be phony like that? Why try to put on this act? All right. It's like me, just a regular American, talking about I'm Nigerian. Rather than Anthony Logan, my name is Odawa Ngowa or something crazy, And I come with a fake African accent for what? I'm an American. The same thing with her. Fake Spanish accent talking about, I don't know how to speak English. But anyway, she has this whole thing going on for a very long time. And then finally, it gets to the point where she gets caught out there. And people are saying, hey, you're not really from Spain. Your parents live in Spain now, but they didn't move to Spain until you got to be an adult. And you grew up in America. You're born in America, raised in America. Your parents are not from Spain. You're not a first generation immigrant. You were born and raised here in America. You're not a Spanish person at all. So why are you even trying to play this game? This is yet another Sean King, Rachel Dolezal, Jessica Krug, all these people that are white that are trying to claim other identities. And you know what I think? I think it's because having an identity aside from just being a regular American or a regular white person is kind of in vogue. It's a cool thing to do, so people just do it for that reason. That's my personal opinion about the whole situation. That's the only reason why I could see. I mean, of course, there's benefits from being a different identity, just like Mindy Kaling, who is a East Indian, red dot Indian. Her brother pretended to be black and was able to get some kind of scholarship from a black college in Atlanta. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. I'm not sure if he was doing that like ironically or if he was doing it for real to try to get some actual benefit, but you can reap benefits by claiming an identity that's not yours. Okay, I think Hilaria Baldwin was just trying to get a leg up in the Hollywood scene, trying to snag her an actor because it was this whole different. It was a whole thing. Like at her wedding, matter of fact, hold on. At her wedding, it was kind of Spanish infused. Matter of fact, I'm gonna find it right quick. And we got much more to talk about, but I'm gonna talk about this first. Hold on. There was a picture at the wedding. She had one of these Spanish fans. You guys know more than I do. I don't really know much about Spanish culture. You guys know what that kind of fan is. So I'm going to find it right quick. There it is. Okay. So, all right. Here is Miss Hilaria, a.k.a. Hillary Baldwin, at her own wedding. So, let's put that on the screen. Hold on one second here. Can we get that in focus? There we go. Okay. So, that's her and Alec Baldwin. And you see the fan is right there. That's like some kind of Spanish stuff. And she's like waving it on them. And by the way, one of her kids is named Eduardo. So it's like, what are you even doing? You need to be coming out there with a pumpkin spice latte and waving that around rather than in this fan like you Salma Hayek and Desperado. I mean, cut it out, man. Like, and what do you have in your hand? Is that a head of lettuce? Is that some broccoli, some kale stems? Like, what's really going on? Why? What's the reason? He appears to be happy. He's cool. He got a big smile on his face. So why you got to put on this act? She has a book called Living the Method Life or something like that. But in reality, she is a method actor. And method actors, what they do when they are preparing for a role or when they're playing a role, they never leave that role. So, for example, they could be in a break room in between takes and they still doing that thing. So let's say it's Christian Bale or whoever was playing Batman. He's playing Batman. Rather than just using his regular voice, he was like, hey, give me a glass of water. You know, the same gravelly, Batman type voice all the time. He's always in character. I think they said that Heath Ledger would do that, but that might not have been true, but that's a different story. That's what she's doing right here. For what, though? I'm not really sure. I think it's because nowadays it is seen as cool or trendy or almost kind of required to have a different identity away from just being a regular American to be somebody. That's what it is. Okay, because think about it like this. Who would Sean King, aka Talcum X, aka Martin Luther King be without this fake black identity? And the funny part is that people still believe that Sean King is black. I knew from the very beginning that he was not black. I thought he was just like a white ally. I was like, okay, just a white guy wanting to be, down with the cause. Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of white liberals that want to just be involved. There's nothing wrong with that. But I had no idea that anybody thought he was black. But here we are. He's still kind of claiming that identity. Now, she didn't came out and said recently that, hey, you guys are just hating on me. You guys are confused. And as far as the whole thing where she was talking about, how do you say in English as far as cucumber, she said, well, I had a brain fart. A brain fart, you forget how to pronounce cucumber, and then you say, how do you say it in English? So, like, you don't know how to speak English anyway. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that part on the screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Hold on. So, this is her on the Today Show with the worst Spanish accent I ever heard in my life. I mean, I've heard people from Spain speak, and this one right here is not really it. It sounds like just a regular American accent, but she's trying to like not go overboard, but still kind of do it a little bit. Let me put it on the screen right quick. Hopefully the sound's not too low. If it is, not my fault. You got to blame the white man. All right, so there it is.
We have very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have how do you say it? Cucumber.
How you saying in English? Let's roll that back right quick in case you didn't hear it.
We have very few ingredients. We have tomatoes. We have how do you say it? Cucumbers. We have red pepper. We have, of course, the.
So yeah, that one was not really it at all. Not in the least bit. But hey, I mean, this is where we at nowadays. So now I don't believe anybody. Already had trust issues from the beginning. So I mean, if somebody says to me, "Hey, you know what? I'm a man," I'll be like, "All right, sir, ma'am, Sam, whatever your name is. Let me get a birth certificate. Let me see what's really going on. Can I get you a DNA test to see if you really are a male or a female? I don't really know what's going on. Okay, I'm black. All right, let's prove it. Let me get some documents. I don't believe anything that anybody says anymore. Anybody can identify as anything, and pretty much everybody just rolls with it. So I don't believe anything anymore. My trust issues have really skyrocketed. But that one was pretty obvious. It's like, come on, you're not even giving me a real good accent here. I want to get somebody that Salma Hayek type accent, or what's the other lady from Modern Family? You guys know what I'm talking about. Sofia Vergara, is that her name? Give me that accent. Give me that Rosa Perez, New York, Puerto Rican. Give me that. Don't give me this regular talking about, oh, how you saying English? But hey, that's where we're at nowadays. Everybody's something different other than what they are. Just like, what's that, Elliot Page? What's her name? Ellen Page? Now, I was offended at Ellen Page or Elliot Page. Matter of fact, I put it on the screen before you. I was offended at one of her first pictures as a male, I suppose, because, all right, now you guys, I put it on the screen right quick, and you tell me what's wrong with the picture. You tell me why I'm offended at the picture. Okay, now, hey, I'm offended at this picture. You're trying to be a male. This, I feel like it's copyright infringement. Why is your dude outfit a polo shirt and a hat with a clean face? I'm totally offended. Why must that be what a dude looks like? So you just saw me on YouTube and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to dress like ABL. That'd convince them right there. I'm going to just go from being a young lady to looking like ABL, and then now I'm a male. I'm totally offended by that, all right? And I'm not buying the look. Elliot, I'm not really sure. I'm not buying it. I saw you before this whole thing happened, so your disguise is not really swaying me one way or the other. You understand? I think it'll get to the point where there'll be no need for a disguise anymore. You could just say, hey, you know what? I identify as a male. I identify as a female, wearing your regular stuff. You could be a construction worker in a pair of 8-inch Timberland boots, steel-toed, with the high visibility vest on, the big coveralls. You could have all that on and say, you know what? I identify as a woman. And then have everybody believe you and say how brave and strong you are. All right? But I digress. Thank y'all for being here. Yet again, you guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. And we got a whole lot more to talk about because I got a lot on my chest I'm gonna get off right now in the stream. What else we got? Oh, the Lincoln statue removal. Now, this is crazy because I saw this coming. I did a video. I think my first video about the Confederate statues was about 3 years ago or more. I was still in Virginia. This was almost 4 years ago, actually. Early 2017, when they started to do the whole Confederate removal and they're trying to dig up Nathan Bedford Forest, all this and that, I was like, hey, if you want to start here with the Confederate monuments and all this and that, you're going to work your way to George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., JFK. Everybody is going to be on the chopping block when you start this whole thing. Okay, they even got the left's martyr, Brianna Taylor, out there in San Francisco. Somebody tore the statue up out there. Now, they want to say that it's somebody on the right that did it. It was a right wing hater, a Trump supporter. It could have been anybody. Okay, who you think is tearing down the statue of Abraham Lincoln? If anybody, according to them, that'd be somebody on the right because they quote unquote hate black people, which is false. But according to the left logic, that would be somebody on the right doing that, tearing down Abraham Lincoln, but obviously it's not. The city of Boston is in on it. It was a total straight left-wing dude talking about, oh, the statue is offensive, it's hurtful to black people, all this and that, and the third. Not offensive, not all. I'm gonna put the statue on the screen before you if you've not seen it. This is the Emancipation statue. The original one is in DC, which was commissioned by former slaves to represent their freedom. Okay, they were granted their freedom. They were emancipated from slavery by Abraham Lincoln. So, as token of their appreciation, they had a statue commissioned to represent their freedom. It wasn't a thing that was put up to intimidate anybody or anything like that. Like I say about the Confederate statues, it wasn't nothing like that. It was around at the end of slavery to mark the end of slavery, and it was commissioned by freed slaves, by free black men that were happened to be slaves at a particular point to celebrate their freedom. That's why it's called the Emancipation Statue. Now, matter of fact, I'll put it on the screen, and then I'm going to describe it for you, just so you understand what's going on if you do not know the full history. Because I was reading some of the comments, they were saying, oh, this statue looks crazy, it should have gone. No. Let's understand what's going on. See, this is why I say don't take any statues down, because people are so ignorant. They don't even know what's going on. They think that they have everything figured out when they don't know anything at all. Okay, so here's the statue. I think this is the one in DC, but the one in Boston is the exact same. It's a duplicate, a replica of this one in DC. Now, what you're seeing right here is Abraham Lincoln, and he has one hand on a sheet of paper, which is probably my special proclamation, which freed the slaves during the war. And as a bust, it appears to be, I think, on one side, there's like an American flag shield. On the other is George Washington, if I'm not mistaken. There's some stars on the column that he's kind of leaning on. He has on like a overcoat type thing with the two, what it's like, double-breasted. I'm not really sure what you call it, but anyway, he's standing up, he's looking down, and he has his other hand extended over the kneeling former slave. Is a slave being emancipated. Now, people look at this and they say, well, I'm going to say they say, I will say some people say, there was a professor in Boston, a guy by the name of Raul Fernandez. That does not sound black. But anyway, he said that the statue represents a subservient black male being used as a prop to uplift the white savior. That's what he said. Never mind the fact that Abraham Lincoln was a president of the United States of America and he was doing things for his constituents. Let's forget about that part of it. Let's forget about how he reunified the nation. Let's forget about how he got killed for not only reunifying the nation, but also freeing the slaves and then potentially giving them the right to vote. Let's forget about all of that was going on. They reduced this statue to the subservient black male being used as a prop to uplift the white savior. Ridiculous. Now, this statue represents the slave being freed from bondage. Okay, that's what it's about. It's not about Abraham Lincoln, having a slave or, being some type of caretaker or overseer or anything racist like that. Abraham Lincoln signed the paper that freed the slaves, and the slave is being freed. He's being emancipated. It says it right there, emancipation, freedom from slavery. Now, if you zoom in a little bit, you can see what's going on. Now, right there on the slaves, on the ex-slaves' wrists, you have chains, shackles that have been broken. You can see it right there on the screen. Maybe you can't. But there's shackles on his wrists and the chains on the shackles have been broken. So he is gaining his freedom. There's also some more on his wrist. He's gaining his freedom. That's the whole point behind the statue, because he's coming into himself as a man. To me, it's a beautiful statue because it represents a turning point in history to where we go from being enslaved and having that chapter of our existence here being a reality to moving into freedom. That's the whole thing. But apparently this statue is racist and it's got to go. And people don't know any better. They don't know anything about the statue, so then they just sign off on it. I heard they had 12,000 signatures to remove the statue. Now I wonder how many of those out of 12,000 know what the statue represents. How many of them know that it was commissioned by former slaves? How many of them know that it is a positive statue that black men paid for out of their own pocket? Ex-slaves paid for out of their own pocket. So this is not a thing that you could just do and it was just cheap. This was a real undertaking for somebody that just got free from slavery to be able to do. And matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a better image. Let me see. Somebody said at a quick glance it doesn't look good. Exactly, at a quick glance. But once you understand history, once you're being taught the proper thing, then you will understand. But how many of those that signed the paper that say remove it understand anything I said? How many of them actually heard that? That's why I'm here today, to just give the light, to bring light. It was not done by the white man or paid for. This was a thing that black men, former slaves, paid for right after slavery to commemorate their end of slavery. That's what it was. So when they tried to remove the first one in D.C., a lot of black men that weren't even conservative came down to speak against it and to tell the white liberals that were out there about what's going on, to educate them, because they don't know. You go through K through 12, college, they won't tell you anything about that. All you're going to do is just see it and think it's racist. That's all you're going to do. And then you sign a petition to get rid of it, and then it's gone. And then when it's gone, you won't be able to understand that history. You're taking away the history that former slaves left for us to be able to see. They left for us to be able to learn from. You see what I'm saying? This is why I'm against the removal of statues, because it breeds ignorance. How would you know anything about what's going on when it's not taught to you in school, and you're not going to have any kind of statue or any kind of thing to remember it? This is why ISIS, when they go overseas and they conquer a place, they tear down all the statues, all the pictures, they rename stuff. You know, you had Constantinople, that's become Istanbul. You see how that goes? It's the same place. Why rename it? It's because you want to have the place reflect your values, your cultural identity. That's what's going on. I think those that are really behind removing it know what's happening, but they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to know that Abraham Lincoln was the first GOP president, and the party was started as an abolitionist movement, and he was one that freed the slaves. They don't want you to know that. They want you to think he's some kind of racist and bring up the Trail of Tears and stuff like that. But I digress. Here's a better picture of it right here. That might be the one in Boston, if I'm not mistaken. And here is the shackle on his wrist, like totally broken, right? Totally broken. See, and he's holding some of it right there in his hand. See, the shackle is not hooked onto anything. I think if you look at the base of the statue from a higher up angle, there may be a piece of the shackle that would be chained to the base, but that's not there anymore. He's holding the chains in his hand, so now he's able to move around and do what he has to do as a newly freed slave. Okay, that's what's going on. So if you didn't know anything about that, now you got your education. And don't take my word for it. Look it up. Look up Emancipation Statue. Look up who commissioned it. Look up when it was created. Look up who was behind it, and look up what it was for. All right. Everything I say, end up with the truth. You can look it up and figure it out for yourself. If you don't believe me, or you want to just fact check me, please do. All right. So that's what it is. So yeah, they removed it from Boston, and then they're going to put it into a storage facility. Okay, here's what they said. They said they're going to remove it, but they've already removed it, and they're going to put it into a storage facility until they can put it back out in a public place that's accessible with context. It's like, all right, it was already out there outside in the public square, and it had this whole big base. All you got to do is just slap a paragraph of text on the base, tell you what's going on. Okay, this statue was commissioned by former slaves in Washington, D.C. It's a replica, represents the end of slavery. Boom. Easy. You could do that and not spend too much money. I can do that right now. Matter of fact, if they would have called me before they took the statue down, I could have came up there with a sheet of paper and stuck it on there. And in 5 minutes, it would have been done. Give me some duct tape, and that's it. It's a wrap. Duct tape, a Sharpie, and a sheet of paper with no lines on it, and it's over. So what they want to do with these statues is take them away in general, so you can't see them anymore. All these Confederate monuments, how many of them actually made their way to the museum? And how many of them are just sitting right now in some kind of storage facility or might just be in a dump altogether? Okay. In Portland, Oregon, they took down a statue of Abraham Lincoln. Then they spray painted 1619 and Big Floyd, all kind of dumb stuff on it. What does that got to do with Abraham Lincoln? It's not enough to actually get popped for freeing slaves. You got to be more woke than that. I don't know how much more woke you can be than freeing slaves. I don't really, with like on the woke meter, that's got to rank the highest. You know, from just talking about black issues and crying about it to actually giving your life to free the slaves. What does that rank on the wokeness meter? It's got to be pretty high. All right. But we're kind of living in the bizarre world where if you tear down your city and you just destroy things and you screech and holler to raise money and you don't give any back to the community in which you just destroyed, that's being woke. But if you want to actually do a thing that's positive, like free the slaves, like commission the statue to commemorate the end of slavery, that's not woke. That's racist, and that has to be done away with and eradicated. You see, it's a bizarre world. They're making bad things become good and good things become bad, but I digress. All right, we got a whole lot happening. Let me see. Let me get back to where I was at. Oh, if you like what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. I appreciate you if you did. And where are we at right now? Let me see. Okay, we got, oh, yeah, let's go back to the Nashville Rv Bomber. Now, how did they not know that this guy in Nashville was going to do something like that? Let's go back a little bit and talk about the Nashville situation, and then I'll give you an update from what I've been reading today. Now, on Christmas morning, right around 1:30 a.m., this guy by the name of Anthony Quinn Warner, I think that's his name, pulls up in downtown Nashville in the RV, all right? And he is playing different types of music, different recordings. I think one of the recordings could have been gunshots. Maybe he had a gun in the RV and was shooting it. Maybe he didn't, but he probably was playing a recording of the gunshots. So then when the gunshots come out, the police are called. They're saying, hey, they're shooting out there downtown Nashville. Somebody come please help. When the police arrive, they find the RV, and there's more audio coming from the RV talking about, hey, if you can hear this, evacuate now. If you can hear this, evacuate now. And they were also in between that, evacuate now, playing a song called Downtown. When you're lonely, listen to third, go downtown. But anyway, the police hear that and they probably think, okay, we got a bomb or something's going on. This is kind of a dangerous situation. So they go door to door and they do what the recording said. They evacuated people. They went to apartments and businesses and were evacuating people. So just to make sure that nobody got hurt by the blast. And sure enough, at about 6:30 a.m., the blast went off. Nobody was killed. I think there might have been 3 injuries, but nothing life-threatening. So that happened. You're talking about the blast was so intense that like a whole block was just, it looks like a war zone. All right. Like a bomb was dropped down from the sky and hit, but really the RV blew up. And AT&T service was down for a while. Somebody be kind of down for a minute, depending upon where you live. And it was down as far as like Kentucky, Alabama, North Georgia, from the place being damaged in Nashville, Tennessee. So it had a pretty wide radius of effect, although the actual physical damage was a pretty small area, like 1 city block. There's all kind of conspiracies, all kind of things that could be true, talking about he targeted that area right there because AT&T is right there and they were trying to damage infrastructure. That could have been the case. I don't really know, but it doesn't really matter for what I'm going to say. Now, all of that happened. It was a whole big thing. The FBI come down there and they cracked the case almost immediately. Now, here's something I wanted to say before we get to what the FBI knew beforehand, before this whole thing happened. Okay, how did it go down there, crack the case immediately? But the Vegas shooting, we still kind of, don't really know what's going on with that. It took a while for that to go and really get solved. All right, what's happening with that? But again, I digress. The guy was, they said he was a loner. He was just, tending to himself, watering his plants and playing with his pets, that type of thing. Stuck to himself, didn't talk to nobody. But as recently as last year, he had a girlfriend. And the girlfriend said, hey, I called the FBI because he was making bombs in his RV back then. So the FBI got a tip on this guy in 2019, last year, about making bombs in the RV. And then the police came to his house last year as well. So the FBI knew about this guy. The police out there locally knew about this guy. But somehow he was still able to make the bombs in his RV and then go blow up a city block in Nashville. How did that happen? I don't really know. Okay, I don't know how you could be on somebody's watch list and then they're not really watching you. Maybe he was not on the watch list. Maybe you should be if they're saying, hey, this guy is dangerous, making bombs in his RV, he might do something. And he has all the classic signs, you kind of stand to yourself a little bit. People don't really know you and something's going on. But he went out there and was able to do that. I think it was the same thing with Dylan Roof. The police had been called on him numerous times. He was on the radar. They knew about him, knew he was dangerous. But then when he went out and did what he did, there was no way to prevent it. Now, one thing I will say to defend the FBI and the police, I'm not really sure what can be done to prevent them from doing what they're doing. Because if they don't commit a crime, like a specific crime beforehand, what are you going to do? All you really can do maybe is monitor them, surveil them. But then is that legal to monitor somebody without them committing the crime? I don't really know, but you got to do something. I feel like you need to do more than what you're doing if you know this guy could be dangerous, because they may go out there and hurt someone. You don't want that to be the case. If you've been to their house over and over and over, and, Dylan Roof's case, you've been there multiple times, and he still is able to go out there and do what he does, what's happening with that? In the case of this guy out there in Nashville, you at least had 2 visits, one from the federales and one from local police, maybe even more than that, but nothing was done. I don't really know why, but that's what's going on. It's all kind of things out there talking about. He had like a military grade weapon. I have no idea. I don't know what kind of bomb he was able to build, or if he's prior military or had any kind of military knowledge or experience. Who knows? Things are so haywire nowadays. You could have really had a mold on the inside, gave him some kind of plans and some materials, build some real powerful stuff to knock out more than what we may even anticipate. So, yeah, the guy was prototypical for everything. By himself, making bombs in his crib, suspicious behavior. So, yeah, there most certainly should have been more that they could do to prevent that from happening. But that's just my point of view. That's just my humble opinion. All right. Let me see. Rapper 10,000 says, remember how long they were watching the Boston Bombers? This is hard to label as terrorism. Yeah, I won't say it's terrorism, because with terrorism, isn't the objective to normally hurt a lot of people at once? It's just like they want to call it a suicide bombing. I mean, yes, I guess it would be considered that technically, but no, not in a traditional sense. When you're talking about suicide bomber, you mean the guy that puts on the vest and goes, Allahu Akbar, and then in the middle of a crowded pub, blows up everybody in the pub. You understand? That's because you're trying to hurt yourself to hurt other people physically. But this was not the case. This guy, well, he could have been trying to lure officers by saying, having the gunshots ring out, having officers get called, and then they get there to respond and they're saying evacuate now. So then they got to be around the RV for a little while to evacuate people. That could have been the case, but I don't really know, because I think they had plenty of time to evacuate. The bomb did not go off until 6:30. So I think it was a matter of destroying infrastructure and also to get some attention to himself for whatever the reason may be. Now, I heard that he had a problem with the AT&T location or something like that. I have no idea. But all I do know was that the FBI knew about him at least a year in advance, because his girlfriend called them on him saying, hey, something's wrong with this guy. He's building bombs in his RV right now. Do something about it. But what can they do? I don't really know, but we'll see. We'll definitely see for sure. Oh, and then the one guy that was out there, speaking about copycat culture, the one guy that was out there, what was that? On Highway 218 or whatever it is, right by Nashville. This guy had the audacity to park his vehicle like on a highway. Like he had one of these big kind of like box trucks. He parked his vehicle on the highway playing some of the same music that was playing from the guy in downtown Nashville. It's like, man, look, we don't have no time for that. You need to go straight to the penitentiary, straight to Gitmo, Big Rocks, Little Rocks. We don't got no time for that, sir. You playing games over here. We don't have any time for that. So the copycat culture is real. I think that's why you may see others do similar things like this to get some attention. But don't do that. If you're watching me right now, you're considering doing a copycat attack, don't do that. Don't attack anybody, period. But if you want to play a game and, pretend, quote unquote, pretend to copycat, you're going to get football numbers. Right now, you won't get an impartial jury. They won't give you the book and the rope all in one. Just take everything. They'll throw the book at you right now in this particular climate because of what just happened. All right. You got to understand you got to read the room, so to speak, but I digress. Okay. Never called the FBI. Is that what happened? Well, hey, somebody got called about the situation. I know the police came to his house. Now, if the FBI weren't called, then the question is why? Why were they not called? What did the police find? All right. So we'll definitely see about that. All right. And what else we got going on? Oh, the TikTok nurses. Oh my goodness. Have you guys seen the resurgence of TikTok nurses? They're back. The TikTok nurses are back in full effect. I thought they were gone for a while because people got kind of tired of it. It's like, all right, you're saying that you're overwhelmed with the virus and there's no downtime to do anything, and you can't, you're just being overworked and long shifts and the PPEs tearing your face up, all this, that, and the third. That's what I'm being told by the mainstream media, right? Okay. And if you're a nurse, shout out to you. Shout out to all the nurses. Ain't no hate against the nurses. But if I'm being told on one hand that the centers at the ICUs and everything else are being overwhelmed, and you got to stay home because ICUs are like 80%, 90%, 100%, and the staff is being overworked and overwhelmed, then I don't want to see the entire staff come out and do a whole dance routine. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it on the screen before you. Hopefully, matter of fact, I have a few TikTok nurse videos I want to show you. All right, so let me show you the first one. Oh, matter of fact, before I show you okay, I'm gonna show it to you in the proper order. I'm gonna show you the TikTok nurses, then the anti-TikTok nurse. So let's get to it right here. So here's the first one, the mega party. And I'm gonna turn the sound off so I don't get striked. But you guys can see what's going on. If you can't see it, you have what appears to be the entire hospital. I'm talking about the staff, the patients, the doctors, the administrative. You got guys wearing suits, ties, regular clothes, scrubs, all of that. I feel like this right here is more than what would be allowed at a wedding or a funeral coming up. You understand? But they're at a hospital. They're outside and on the hospital grounds in the grass doing this. Electric slide, dancing, all of that. So it was like, okay, man, what are we even doing here? Are you overwhelmed or not? This is not a small hospital either. I'm not really sure where they are, but are you overwhelmed or not? I'm just trying to figure out what's really happening. If you're overwhelmed, I understand. But all this dancing and carrying on, you do not appear to be overwhelmed. Okay, I just don't really see it. All right, it's a little bit of everything going on here. Now, let's pause that. And we got another one. We have yet another one. This is actually inside the hospital. And everybody has on their scrubs and everything else. So let's check this out. Now, again, I can't play sound because of strikes and stuff. But they're really getting down. All right. So I'm just trying to figure out what's happening. What is the deal? Like, I was told that you can't do this. Like, even if you just say they want to let off steam or whatever, I was told you couldn't even do this. All this dancing and carrying on and loud music. Matter of fact, I remember reading this thing on the news where they said that loud music could contribute to the coronavirus. Loud music could contribute to the coronavirus. So I'm like, how does that really work? But they're playing music here. You can't hear the music, but I got it on mute. But they are playing plenty of music, and they're dancing in the hospital with their scrubs on and their masks and all that good stuff. Now, my question would be, if you're dancing with a mask on, is a mask still going to be good for you to use after that? Or do you need to change it into a new one? If you've been sweating and spitting and everything else, is that going to be a good mask, or must you change it? I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Y'all tell me what's happening, because I'm kind of clueless at this particular point in time. All right. So, and then you got the staff up on the upper tiers watching. Not much, 6 feet apart. Everybody's pretty much elbow to elbow. Oh, they got masks on. All right, well, if they got masks on, then why can't I either, okay, here's what I can do. How about if they have masks on and they're not distance from each other, I can distance from you and not wear a mask. Ain't that how that will work? If I'm not doing one, let me do the other rather than both. I won't be anywhere near you. You stay away from me and I won't have my mask on. We call it even. They got a whole big routine. So it's not even like, oh, they just break it for a minute. This is going on for a minute. And this is a Twitter video, so it's got to end at a certain point. Now, my question would be, at what point do you say, all right, like how long are these dance parties going on? That's kind of what I want to know. That's all I want to know. And like I said, shout out to all the nurses. You guys doing a great job. A lot of my family are nurses, and I love y'all. Shout out to y'all. But I'm told that the hospitals are overwhelmed. There's no more room in the ICU and all this and that. That's what I hear all the time. But I see a different thing. I see it on my Twitter every single day. TikTok, all of that. I don't have TikTok, but I see these TikTok videos all the time. Lunch break, is that what it is? A lunch break? Oh, okay. So everybody got lunch break at the same time. Everybody gets to do a choreographed dance. I've never seen that happen at a regular job, let alone in a hospital in my life ever. I have a lot of questions. I have so many questions and so few answers. Now, here's my next video. This is the anti-TikTok nurse video, in my humble opinion. This is the this is the anti-lockdown and the anti-mask video. This is my favorite anti-lockdown and anti-mask video yet. Let's go ahead and put it on the screen. I can't play the whole thing as far as the music, but you see it right there on the screen. You got elderly people dancing, taking their masks off. Let's run it back one more time. So, hold on, I'm gonna pause it right quick. So what you have here, for those that can't see the screen, you have what appears to be, I say, 5 elderly people, and they look like they're in a home, like a nursing home, not like a hospital, kind of like a assisted living facility, basically. And they're in the hallway. They got their mask on, and they got "We're Not Gonna Take It" playing in the background. And they're raising their finger up. They're dancing a little bit, and they're crossing their arms. And then towards the end, they take their mask off and throw them up on the ground. That is my favorite video ever. That's the favorite one. And you know what? I'm told that, hey, if you don't want to wear a mask, you're going to kill grandma. What about your grandma? What of that? They don't want to wear it either. They don't want to wear it either. Is that Joe? Hey, that's not Joe, but Joe should be in it. Joe's in the proper age range to be in it. They should call Joe, be like, hey, man, you about our age. You about 1,000 years old. Come on. Matter of fact, you be the oldest one. We're much younger than you are. But come on, man, be part of this TikTok and take your mask off, throw it on the ground. Join us. But you can't do that because the Democratic Party won't let him. But if he was not part of the Democratic Party and he was a regular normie, I'm pretty sure that he would join and take that mask off. All right. Yeah, take the mask clean, smooth off. Yeah, I'm not a fan of TikTok as far as the app is concerned. It is run by China, that's for sure. There's a lot of Chinese propaganda on there. I'm talking about bits on propaganda. You go in there, you got Chinese influencers, quote unquote influencers, that'll tell you pretty much any kind of lie about China you want to hear. There's also like AI influencers, like fake people that aren't even like computer robots that are influencers that got big followers on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. But that's a different story. Yeah, but so shout out to all the old people. When the virus first popped and we had indoor dining restrictions out here, when they released the restrictions, we went out to eat, and right next to me and my wife, right next to us, it was an elderly couple. I'm talking like on the first day of indoor dining being reopened, they right there, no mask on, chilling. They don't want to be locked up in a nursing home or nothing like that in their room, not being able to interact with their family or move around and do anything. They don't want to be prisoners in their own home. They want to move around too. They know that if they're 90-something years old, their time is going to be limited. So they want to still be able to enjoy their life. that they have. They don't want to be locked up. So it is what it is. Alrighty. But thank y'all for being here yet again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. So if you enjoyed what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. Let me see. Hospitals at 110%. Where at though? If they're so full like that, then why do we have so many TikTok nurses? Not even just one person or three people. We're talking about the entire hospital, the whole hospital, everybody. Why is everybody able to go out there and do that? I mean, if you got so many patients, shouldn't you have some of them that tend to the patients? You know, you go some places, you got totally empty hospitals. People are scared to go to the hospital because of the virus. They don't want to go to the hospital for something kind of minor or for a checkup or for some kind of, outpatient procedure and then come back with the virus. They're scared to go. So they don't want to be in that environment. They know they might have COVID patients there and they don't want to be there. So it is what it is. The hospitals are pretty much, you got hospitals laying off people. How are they laying off people if they're so full? It doesn't make any sense. And when you say 110% full, how many beds is that? 8 beds, 10 beds? How many beds is that really? That's my question. Let's get a real count of how many beds are available in the ICU. All right. Some dude says the hospitals are full of, SHI. You already know the rest. Now, I heard about Georgia, but we're going to see what happens with that. Georgia, they said that you had the voting machines that were online, had Wi-Fi, and they could send and receive data. But I want to see exactly what happened with that. I want to see the smoking gun that says that they were given data or that they sent data during the election and how that may have affected it. That's what I want to see. Because I did hear about that, but it's like, all right, that may be true, but then what? What was the result of them being able to send and receive data? Did it get sent and received? That's what I'd like to know. All right. Oh, yeah, I saw Dr. Burks retired. So Dr. Burks, Dr. Burks. Dr. Burks was recommending that you don't go hang out with your family Thanksgiving and you just stay home, hunker down. But she went to see her family on Thanksgiving. And right after that, she retired. Like right when she got caught doing that, she talking about, I'm going to retire. I'm going to stay home with my family. It's like, all right, man, this is a game. Oh, Dr. Fauci came out and admitted that he was lying about the mask thing at first. But I'm not sure he was telling the truth about that. Although he admits to a lie, I'm not sure if he's telling the truth. One thing about me, if you are proven to be a liar and I catch you in a lie, I can't really trust you much. Yeah, and so if you tell me that, I said this and it wasn't really true, I'm not really believing that because that could be a lie in itself. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play this right quick. Before I play it, there was another video of him earlier this year talking about you don't need to wear a mask because it might block a droplet or two, but it won't give you the perfect protection you think you have. It won't give you this really big barrier of protection. Ain't no point in wearing a mask. It's not going to help you. You said that earlier this year, like in March of this year. It's not a long time ago or quote unquote old science, old news, old recommendations. This is recent things that he said. All right. So he said that earlier and then he came back recently talking about something else. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find it and we put it on the screen. And where are we at here? Let's go. If I have it anymore, I might not have it. But yeah, I might even do a video about that one because that really tore me to pieces. Seeing that guy lie about that. I am going to find it. But thank y'all again for joining. Give me one more second. I'll be able to find that actual, or maybe not. Oh, well. But yeah, he admitted to lying about the whole mask thing. I mean, but at the end of the day, is anybody surprised that Fauci would say something like that? That he would come out and say, well, all right, don't wear the mask, but now do wear the mask. And then he'll have a whole explanation as to why, he told you something different from the beginning. I'm not surprised at all. I don't get surprised at anything anymore. Okay, so here's the first video where he discouraged the mask use. I did find that one. I've played that over and over again. I'm going to play it one more time.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often...
So here's a question. Now, was he lying right there? Or is he lying now? That's $1 million question. That's what I'm trying to figure out. That's all that I like to know. All that I like to know is, was he lying then or lying now or both? That's all that I am interested in. Period. Oh, here it is. Here it is. There we go. I was looking for this for a while.
Or two.
Now, the first video was from March of this year. And this one right here is more recent. Like the other day, you said this.
Or 2 or 3 ago, when people were saying, you don't really need to wear a mask. Well, the reason for that is that we were concerned, the public health community, and many people were saying this, were concerned that it was at a time when personal protective equipment, including the N95 masks and the surgical masks, were in very short supply. And we wanted to make sure that the people, namely the healthcare workers who were brave enough to put themselves in harm's way to take care of people who were infected with the coronavirus and the danger of them getting infected. We did not want them to be without the equipment that they needed.
Now, I got to pause right there. You're talking about N95 masks. Have you ever seen an N95 mask in Walmart, Target, or something like that where somebody would go to get it? I've never in my life seen an N95 mask in person, like in reality, in real life, just an N95 mask walking around. And I heard that you have to get fitted for those kind of masks by a professional. You can't just go buy that from Walgreens and put it on your face. And the reality is, even right now, people are wearing bandanas, they're wearing tablecloths, tissue paper, neck gaiters, all of that around their face. I've seen people wear birthday hats, the little dunce hats, a basketball shoe, all kind of stuff on their face. Plastic bags with no holes poked in it, suffocate themselves to death. I've seen a little bit of everything. So, and then the media will say that Trump was the one that denied the virus and he was trying to downplay it and didn't stress the importance of masks. But you have Anthony Fauci, the left's hero, the Time Person of the Year, talking about what I said, don't wear masks, because I did not want the supply to run low, because if you were a medical professional, you needed it more than anybody else. So he's admittedly trying to mitigate damage from a run on a supply of masks. So do I trust you? If you're telling me something else, then what's the motive behind that? Are you giving me the truth or what you think I need to hear? Don't tell me a convenient thing to try and control me. I don't like that. Just tell me the truth. If it's my life you're talking about and the mask is going to save my life, don't tell me don't wear a mask, although it's to protect my life. It doesn't make any sense. That's just like saying, hey, you know what? It's a war going on outside and people are crazy, but don't get a gun because it won't really work. It won't be effective. Meanwhile, you need the gun to protect yourself. You need the gun to be able to defend your house and your liberty and all this and that. You need that actual weapon. It's improper and it's irresponsible to say you don't need it. You see, but that's where we're at nowadays with people like quote unquote, Dr. Anthony Fauci. But hey, let's get to super chats and then I'm going to get to the calls in a little bit. Let me see. Super chats on deck. Let's get to those. Wolfgang says, went to a job interview, asked who is the president, didn't like the answer and said, sorry, but I refuse to work for psychotic people. Thank you for that. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Apu Bakr, who says a few things here. Dear ABL, sincere condolences. Hey, it's all good. May the Lord above grant him eternal rest. Thank you. He also said, awesome video on the Boston Abraham Lincoln statue. Your deep, detailed analysis is 100% history, philosophy, and common sense. Youth must watch. Hey, I provide the real info to the people. That's all I want to do. All right. Let me see. During the Civil War, more than 500,000 white men died serving the Union Army, whose victory led to the abolition of slavery. Where are their monuments? Good question. He also says, Why do the white liberals object to the Lincoln statue, which was commissioned by free men and free women? Well, they are against the Lincoln statue because they're ignorant, number one, and they put, being non-racist and trying to, show everyone how not racist they are. They put that above actual legitimate facts in history. They don't care about history. When they see that statue, they're not interested in hearing the real story behind it. They don't want to hear that. All they want to hear is, well, I'm not a racist, therefore the statue must go. I don't care who did it. I don't care about anything else. That's what we pretty much want to do. Get rid of the statue. I don't care if it's a black man that made it right now today and I could talk to him. I don't want to talk to him because I don't want to be seen as racist. Therefore, get the statue out of here. Okay, let me see. Hudson says, I just want to wish you Happy New Year in advance. Hopefully your New Year's resolution. I read that one already. Thank you for that. Illicit says, let's give a shout out to Josh Hawley for objecting to the false results of the election. Beach Rumble happening in Congress in the next 20 plus days. Apple says, opinion on Breonna Taylor's statue being vandalized. Oh, well, it's going to happen like that. And the other side started it. And I'm not really sure. It could have been anybody that did that. People assume that it was somebody on the right or a Trump supporter or something of the equivalent that destroyed that statue. But I have no idea who did it because the left are actively, openly destroying Abraham Lincoln statues. So, I mean, if you destroy the statue of a man that freed the slaves, I would not put it past them to destroy Breonna Taylor's statue as well. Why not? They're tearing everything else down. Maybe the statue was not to their liking. It didn't like how it looked. Exaggerated features, all this. I don't know who did it, why they did it, but what I do know is that this whole culture of tearing down statues kind of paved the way for the Breonna Taylor, quote unquote, statue, the bust to be destroyed. It is what it is. Thank you to Walter for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you for your condolences. Thank you to Tube Trance, who says, thank you for all you do, ABL. I appreciate you. Thank you to Hudson, who says 6 feet is not really about social distancing. It's for the facial recognition technology to easily identify people. Oh, you're going there now. So I'll read it one more time. 6 feet is not really about social distancing. It's for facial recognition technology to easily identify people. The surveillance state is coming. Thank you to Elizabeth for your donation with a thank you emoji. Thank you to Rob Padley for your donation. Thank you to President-elect Lily, who says, my mom is a retired nurse and she's disgusted with the videos. She really got a 5-minute break on a good day, let alone in the pandemic. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So not only do they have these long breaks, there's also plenty of time to choreograph these things. You got these big, elaborate things. Everybody's wearing a similar type of decoration and they're outside and they line dance. And it's like, how do you have time for this during a pandemic, aka scandemic, plandemic? How do you have time for this? You should not have time if you're so busy like you say. Byron says, what are your thoughts on digital vaccine verification used as a passport for traveling? It's happening in Los Angeles County. That's very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Not a fan at all. If I must go get some kind of vaccine passport to go to California, I'm not going to California. I'm just not going. And if I can't travel where I need to go as a result, then now we got a serious issue. That's going to cause a big problem. It's just not going to, what you're going to see really are a lot of fake passes and fraudulent stuff going on. You're seeing that right now already. People getting the shots without even having any kind of vaccine in the shot. An empty needle put in somebody's arm and they say, oh, you got the vaccine. Okay. If it was a full needle, what's in the actual needle? It could be anything. You can get straight saline water, sugar water, whatever, and have that be the so-called vaccine. Straight placebo. You have no idea what people are getting on TV. So, I'm not getting the vaccine, nor am I going to put up with this vaccine passport. No way. And it's really an invasion of privacy. It's not against HIPAA violations. I mean, because you're not supposed to have your medical records be accessed by the outside without your consent. So if I got to have a vaccine passport to be able to travel, that's violating my rights in general, right? The privacy, HIPAA Act, all of that. So that's going to be actual court battle right there, in my opinion. I can't read your name. It's not like a cuss word in Spanish, but shout out to the supporter, the subscriber who says, What do you think about the possibility of Biden forcing states like Texas and Florida to go in full lockdown like California? He wants us to wear a mask for 100 days when he takes over. I have a feeling he will go full dictator. Now, that's a good question. I'm not really sure what he can do as far as Texas and Florida, because how they operate as far as a lockdown is similar to how they do the election. You know, you can't really tell a state how they're going to do an election. It's up to the states to do it how they want. I think what he may do is try to threaten them with withholding federal money. But Florida, I don't think Florida needs it. I think Florida would pretty much be good to go. Same thing with Texas. So Biden might try to influence or bully them into changing what they're doing, but it's not going to work. And really should not do that, because look at what's happening right now with states that are like going out of control with the virus. California right now is a mess. You got virus case jumping all over the place, right? And they got some of the strictest virus restrictions in the whole nation. It's just like, you know, Chicago, Illinois, some of the tightest gun laws in the nation, but yet some of the most gun murder in the nation. How does it really happen? It's almost like these things that they put on the books are not working, and they actually serve to have the opposite be true, that you're going to have more of what you don't want. If they loosen the state up, it might be better. Florida right now is wide open, and they don't have this big rush of virus cases. Same thing with Texas. It's pretty much open. I was in Texas like 2 weeks ago, and it was straight. It wasn't this whole big thing that's happened like in California. And also California, LA County is super crowded. That could be part of the reason why it's like out of control, but I think it's because of the restrictions. And at a certain point, if what you're doing is not working, as far as the restrictions, you got all kind of cases running everywhere, and your economy is tanking, you got to just pause and be like, this is not working. Let's do something else. All right. Shout out to Shad Boy, who says hype with the emoji. And thank you to Stacy Felice, who says best regards to you, ABL, sending you a hug. Thank you. I appreciate you. I really do. All righty. Yeah, it's another variant. But you know, the thing about the variant is that they say that the vaccine will also take care of the variant. So I'm like, how does that work? Also, there was a nurse in Los Angeles County that got the vaccine and then got the virus like a week later. They're talking about that's normal because the vaccine takes 10 to 14 days. And then you got to get another dose of the vaccine, so it's 100% effective. When you get the vaccine, it's 50% effective. Once you get a second dose in a certain period of time, like 10 to 14 days, then it's 90% effective. But apparently the 50%, 90% didn't work in the case of the person that got the vaccine to begin with. All right, maybe it just wasn't enough time. But my question would be, okay, if you are so careful to wear your mask and distance, you do not have it yet, then you get the vaccine and then you get it a week later. How does that really happen? I don't really understand. If you're a person that would get a vaccine and volunteer for it, or whatever the case may be, how did you get the virus? How did that really work? I'm having a hard time figuring it out. They're saying people getting the virus because they don't wear masks. First of all, the mask does not protect you. It protects others, allegedly, but it does not protect you. So the mask won't stop you from getting it, number one. Number two, people that are wearing the mask all the time and stuff still get it. People that I know wear masks and they still get it. So what can you really do? You can't just stay in your house forever. You still got to be able to go out there and move around. All you can't do is just use caution, I guess. And shout out to Mandatory Carey, who says, wanted to hashtag keep fighting. Thank you for that. And thank you to Joanne Fisher for the mic emoji. I appreciate you 1,000%. All righty, let's get to the calls. You guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. Yeah, I did see that, Dent Machine. Dent Machine Co. says, did you see that nurse that got Bell's palsy from the vaccine? I did see that. That was out there in Nashville. Young lady was talking about she got the vaccine and got Bell's palsy immediately. Now, if you guys don't know what Bell's palsy is, that means when part of your face becomes paralyzed for a certain period of time. You know, it could last for a short period of time, like a day or two. Maybe it can last a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 months. I've seen some guys where it lasts for years. And then even if it's not going to last for a long time, there could be long-lasting effects, side effects of having Bell's palsy that stay with you for a lifetime. I know a guy that had Bell's palsy, a stomp down liberal, and shout out to you know you are, a stomp down liberal, stone cold stomp down liberal that was trying to clown Trump for not getting a vaccine while Slick Willie and Barry O were getting it. Maybe even Big Mike too, but that's a different story. Anyway, he was clowning them for getting it and for Trump not getting it. And then when he saw that it caused Bell's palsy in some people, then he's like, no, I can't take that because I had it before and it gave me long lasting effects. So I can't take the virus due to the potential side effect. I was like, oh, okay. You want to clown Trump for not taking it and for others taking it, but you don't want to take it because of the potential side effects. Well, I don't want to have Bell's palsy either, or I don't want to have any other adverse side effect. So how about I opt out the same as you, sir? But I'll move on. Thank you for that, Ian. I appreciate you, man. I really do. Thank you to Santo Bartes, who says, as Zen Master once said, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert's mind, there are few. Prayer for you and your family. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. All righty, let's get to the calls. And let's turn Skype on. If it wants to operate, fine. That'd be great. That'd be lovely. Again, a number to call, 434-658-1220. There's also a number, an email to get in through Skype in the description box below. You can be right there in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. All right, let me get my Skype set up properly. Let me get ready to rock and roll. And all right, 774, you're on the line. What speaker to?
Morning. This is Drew.
This is what?
Drew.
All right, man. What's going on?
Not much. Not to talk about the election. I'm not going to do that. But communism. I think that it's a major issue in the U.S. and that there are not a lot of politicians that are speaking up about it. Communism has been slowly making its way. You know, they say, oh, it's socialism. No, it's communism. It's their idea. It's Marxism. If you look at communism in other parts of the world, how it's affected them, such as Mao's Great Leap Forward, you have Stalin, you have Cuba, you have many countries in Africa, which no one talks about. They don't talk about the massacres and the genocides that happened in Africa.
Yeah, under Idi Amin, Uganda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's horrific. That's the names no one will ever hear about. And the one thing that they all have in common is that a lot of people died. And when a lot of people died, they were okay with it. And it was just, it's part and parcel. Their tree of liberty needs blood. And they use people. And if you look at the United States and you look at socialist programs that have come through, if you look at, I'm going to say, minority and especially black populations living in inner cities, when they put them in ghettos, they created the ghettos. When they created these high-rise, places where they're going to bring you on up, you're not going to be in the ghetto anymore. You're going to be in a nice, brand new public housing. We're going to put blocks. And if you look at them now, they look like communist Russia. The way that they're set up, it's just filled with poverty. There's no way to get out of them. And that's just another example. And to the Democrats, just like the communists, it's part and parcel. It's acceptable. It's acceptable losses. So when the vast majority of minorities in the inner cities and Democrat-controlled areas, when they're living in poverty, there are gunshots going off. There's murders. People are dying. People are being sent to prison. It's basically absolute torture on the population. And for the socialists, they have this mentality where it's okay. This is part of the leap. This is the new world is just around the corner. You just have to, get through it. And you have to get all the policies in. And when they're all in place, then utopia will be here. But until then, a few million people will die. Yeah. But we need to get the guns out. That's part of our plan. It's just communism 101. You can look at any communist regime that's been around the world, and this is just the exact same thing. In China, they used the children. You had children that were attacking teachers. Their teachers actually committed suicide in the schools because they were being harassed and physically attacked. There's no support from the government whatsoever. In Russia, they use the workers, not the children. They use the workers. They would go in, and the workers, they had, the unions, and they brought them up, and the workers physically fought. And then you have our form of communism, which is coming in, which is the liberal elite, which is the useful idiot. And they're sowing the seeds of discontent. Like they are, it's the only way that communism can come in the Western world, especially in our capitalist society. And again, I hear almost no Democrats talking about communism. And I can tell you JFK is rolling around in his grave right now, probably trying to find a gun to load up.
No doubt, man. Well, I thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. We got a few more on the line. Let's go 318 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Lamar.
All right, man. What's going on?
Oh, I'm doing great. I was wondering if you had caught a video on YouTube about there was a doctor that was pleading with some Senate subcommittee about that we already had the cure, the preventative ivermectin.
Hold on. Okay, what happened now? So who said this?
It was a doctor, and said that the key ingredient in the dog heartworm preventative called ivermectin is a preventative. They actually give it to humans in low dosages, like 0.2 milliliters per kilogram of weight.
Okay, now was it a doctor or an official or both? Like where was it said?
I caught this on YouTube. It was some Senate subcommittee that this guy was pleading and begging with.
Okay, so he was a witness.
He was a witness.
Okay.
He said they did something like 30 studies. They had 1,500 subjects, and none of the subjects who were given the ivermectin had gotten COVID.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it was said that the normal dosage, they actually give ivermectin to people for like hookworm, roundworm, in doses of like basically 1 milliliter per pound of body weight. And they were giving him what he said was 0.6 milliliters per kilogram. So basically, 1 per 1. 3 per 1.
All right.
3 per 1 pound of body weight.
Gotcha.
And, he said why he was begging and saying, why didn't we try everything we had in the past, that works on other things? Why haven't we tested everything possible out there? And we found that this ivermectin does not, it's very low side effect and very effective against the COVID, because no one that they gave the ivermectin to got the virus.
Right. Well, we got to see about that. We got to see if you could put that in there with the other drug, the HCQ and all of that, rather than just saying, okay, if you get it, then you might not make it and that kind of thing. Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Well, I love your show, love you, and my condolences.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get to a few more here. The number to call, 434-658-1220. And you guys are the best audience on the internet, so I'm going to get to a few more. Of course, I got plenty of time. I'm always here 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern. And that'll be how we go about this. Let's go. Hold on. Where are we at? Okay, let's go to this. 484, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you well. What's happening?
Oh, Jesus.
Can you hear me?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you. I had to turn my volume down because I was watching a stream,
Gotcha.
Turn the volume down. But, yeah, with them tearing down the statue of Abraham Lincoln, when I was a kid, I assumed a lot of people know the history, but as I get older, I'm starting to see more and more that there's a lot of ignorant people out here who just have no clue.
Yeah, people are ignorant, and that's part of the plan, to keep people ignorant so they just don't know these things. So then when there's something that they want to be part of, like Black Lives Matter or Antifa or something else, they just do it kind of blindly to be part of something. And a lot of that is because they're ignorant to what's really going on. They don't know what the end result of this is going to be. They don't know what they're fighting for or what they're fighting against, because they're just brainless. And the void that they have, of any kind of history, of any kind of context to history, gets freed from these kinds of groups. It gets filled from these kinds of groups. It's like being part of a cult. Okay, you miss something in your life, they come in and fill that void with, all kind of crazy brainwashing stuff, and that's how it goes. So ignorance is a really serious thing. It's a really powerful thing, and it's being exploited by these groups.
Yeah, it is. Like, you see it all the time. You see it all the time with Black Lives Matter, how they take advantage of so many people. And I'm not just going to say black people, because I see all kind of races in that group, and you see all that kind of stuff they're doing. They're actually thinking they want to tear down the system, when really it's not the system. You're responsible for your own actions. It's like they were never taught self-responsibility, self-reliance, independence. I could tell half of them were never taught that.
Correct. Absolutely.
And another thing I wanted to address, I remember a couple of weeks ago you had the 11-year-old call about the stimulus check. I was like, wow, a bunch of children that's politically aware. I was like, that's what's up.
Absolutely. It's amazing.
I had to turn my volume up just to hear him talk. I was like, hold on, let me turn up the volume. I was like, wow, everything he said, he was on point with everything. I was like, yeah, he's following the news. I was like, that's what's up. His parents are doing an excellent job with him.
Definitely.
That way he won't be brainwashed.
Exactly. That's the key. A lot of these kids, they're just kind of growing up like weeds rather than a well-tended to flower garden, like actually raised up properly and given the proper treatment. It's just kind of just allowed to watch anything, allowed to do anything, and they're not being taught anything at home by their parents. So I'm glad to see that some kids are actually getting taught things at home by their parents. Very important.
Yeah, that's good, because just going out, letting them do what they want is kind of could be, that's not always a good thing. It can end in some bad results. They wind up getting in some kind of trouble or hanging with the wrong crowd. That's
right. Absolutely.
And one thing I've learned about kids like that, it's not the fact that most of them have been abused. It's because they never got disciplined. They never got spankings, beatings. And that's what most of these people out here, especially the people I see in Antifa and Black Lives Matter, I see them punching old people, beating up old people. I'm like, really? You sucker punch an old man, he falls and hit his head, y'all kick him while he's down, all because he supports one person you don't like? Yeah, that says a lot about them. But I never listen to their words. I always go by their actions. And their actions is showing that they're the problem. All of them, they need to be exterminated. The whole organization, everything. $10.6 billion, you guys never gave nothing back to the community at all. And there's more crime than ever.
That's right.
Exactly. Well, all right then, ABL. I ain't going to take up most of your time.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, no problem. Have a good one.
Same to you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Now, somebody asked me, did I see the video from New York with the teens tearing up the car? Yeah, I did see that. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it on the screen right quick. And I can play sound from this because there's no music in the background, so I won't get striked. Now, okay, here's the still before I get to the video. Now, what's happening is you have a vehicle, just a random vehicle in Manhattan. They're trying to get from point A to point B. And you have 50 teens, mostly black, different ages, they're young people or whatever. And they're on like BMX type bikes. And for some reason, they're attacking this car. This is what happened. So as the car's, driving down the road, two of the teens try to like jump on the car and surf it. They're kind of like trying to get a ride down the street. But when the person on the inside of the car feels them jump on the car, they brake, they stop. So when they do that, one of the guys falls off and then he gets a bloody nose or something. So then when that happens, then they attack the car. So they're acting like the person tried to hurt the guy. But I mean, if you jump on a moving car and fall off and hurt yourself, it's not their fault, it's your fault for doing it. You understand? So here is the aftermath of that particular incident. So if you can't see it, they're kicking, they're punching the car, they got bikes, they're slamming the bikes on top of the hood, and then here comes probably the craziest thing right now. So one of the teens jumps on the hood of the car and then jumps into the windshield, and he makes a really big dent in the glass. Now, luckily he didn't go through because there was somebody in there. It was a lady inside the car, like a older lady inside the car. And they talked to her afterwards, thought she might die, thought it might be the end. It was crazy. It was crazy. Okay, now all these teens aren't even black though. You got some Asians, you got a little bit of everything in there. All right. And but yeah, it was a big time mess. And let me see if I can find the picture. Okay. So that's her right there. That's the lady. You know, just random lady in New York, kind of an older lady, not like elderly, but probably like 50s and 60s. Not bothering nobody, just driving down the street in Manhattan. And then here's the vehicle, messed up. Now, as you can see, there's a pretty big dent right there in the windshield. And there's also something very interesting about the plates on the car. I don't know if you can see it, but these plates say New York on it. And then it has MD. What's MD stand for? Has a little medical sign right there. So medical doctor, that's what the plates say. And it says underneath that physician. So this is a doctor's car. So whatever happens to, heroes work here, protect the doctors, all this and that and the third. Why have you not seen that on mainstream media? Matter of fact, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Have you seen that on mainstream media? MS13 DNC, ABC, CNN. Have you seen that on mainstream media? Maybe you see it on Fox. If you saw it on television, regular television, aside from Fox, I'd be totally surprised. I'd be totally 1,000% surprised if you saw that on regular television. But this is where we at nowadays. People these so-called teens just tearing up people's cars for, no good reason. But you know what? The thing about it is, if you protect yourself in New York City, it might not go too well for you. Because people were saying, can you get a concealed carry permit in New York? I don't know about that. You might not be able to get one. And if you, match the gas, you might get locked up for that. You might be the person that gets sent to Rikers Island or wherever it is for defending yourself. That's why people are leaving New York City, because you can't even live. She's minding her own business, just trying to get from point A to point B and being attacked by all these people. For what? All right, let's get to the next call. All righty, unknown caller, who am I speaking to? Unknown caller, hello.
Hey, ABL, it's Texas Sweet Tea. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. About yourself?
Oh, my God, good. I'm so happy to speak with you. I really appreciate your show and everything you do.
Well, I'm glad you're able to call in, for sure.
I'm so glad I got through. So I'm a little nervous, but I just wanted to say, I wanted to comment on the Lincoln statue and all that in Boston. It's just really ridiculous. Like, it's not helping Black people at all. Like, I'm half Black myself, and it's not improving my life, removing these statues. Like, I don't understand what these liberals think they're doing. Like, I don't get it. And I have a liberal friend. We talked about all of this in the summertime. And I was, kind of asking, like, what's the point of it? And she was like, well, if someone murdered your grandma, wouldn't you want their statue and they had a statue? Wouldn't you want that pulled down too? And I'm like, what? It doesn't make any sense. I don't understand it. It's like, why can't people focus on things that actually will change people's lives instead of tearing down statues? It's just ridiculous. I don't know. I don't get it.
I mean, they're being brainwashed by people, but propaganda. They keep getting fed the same thing over and over again, and then they believe it rather than focusing on real things. And as a matter of fact, they get told if you focus on real things, then you're a racist and you're just
Right.
deflecting. That's what they get told. So if you try to hit them with that, then they hit you with that. But it's like it doesn't make any sense. But once they come back to
So
reality,
stupid.
maybe they'll understand that.
Right. Yeah. It's so stupid. I don't know. I don't understand these people out here. It's crazy. But I just wanted to say you're one of my favorite YouTubers on the YouTube, you and Salty Cracker. I appreciate you guys so much, and I send my condolences to you, and I just want you to keep your head up and keep doing what you're doing, and you're awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Take care, ABL. And Nay, tell her I said hi.
All righty, we'll do.
Okay, bye. Take care.
All right. Shout out to the caller, Texas Sweet Tea. And shout out to y'all for being here. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video. Share the video, do all that good stuff. And also, if you're not subscribed for whatever the reason may be, maybe you're a first-time viewer, maybe you got unsubscribed from me for some reason. Could be YouTube playing games. I don't know what's going on, but go ahead and resubscribe or subscribe for the first time right now. And when you do that, click the bell right there so you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. All righty, let's get to some more here. Let's go 661. You're the line I'm speaking to.
Hello, ABL?
Yes, indeed, 661.
Hey, how's it going, brother? This is Juan. I'm so glad I got in contact with you.
All righty, man. Well, I'm glad you're on the line. So what's happening?
Hey, so yeah, I just looking at your video, right? As far as like the whole Kamala Harris with the Kwanzaa thing, and you know when you had mentioned about identity politics, you know I pretty much see that a lot as far as when it goes with like the first defense secretary, the first black defense secretary, you know the first Latino Homeland Security, and I see that like Biden and his whole cabinet is trying to, you know, I guess they keep trying to push for that for whatever reason with the whole identity. I think that's just the left in general.
Yeah. I mean, that is pretty much how they do. Everything is about identity because that's how they are able to try and, how can I say, they're trying to do outreach to certain groups. It's all about identity. Okay, you have this group over here. We're going to isolate them in their own little group, in their own little pocket, and we're going to do things, or we're going to pretend to do things for that group, and then that group, and then that group. And everything's about identity when it comes to, you know, K through 12 education and college and the workplace. And it's this whole big racket that they do. And that's how they run campaigns. That's how they have some success in the nation, is by doing everything by identity. So, of course, when identity holidays come up, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever it is, they're going to send whoever they need out there to represent that particular day. So I think somebody like Kamala Harris, you know, if you got Diwali or something like that, the Indian holiday should be out there. Kwanzaa should be out there for that, because you want people to just fill the identity card because they've built their whole platform on that.
Yeah, that is true. And that, you know, that's something that scares me as well, is like, you know, if this whole thing does go through, which I think that there's going to be something else that's going to happen on January 6th. But if it unfortunately does go through with, you know, Biden being the president, it's like, is he choosing these people just based off their ethnicity, or is he actually looking at their credentials, which is not something that I highly see that he's looking at.
Yeah, no, I think that these people are just kind of placeholders, and they're there for their identity. But I think the people that are really behind the scenes are going to be those that are operating and pulling the strings. People that you don't see, they'll be the ones that are really, you know, getting things going. This is why there was some kind of confusion about the cabinet and who was picked, and it's not enough people of color, because once you're in the cabinet, a lot of these people are not really front face, and they're kind of in the background doing things. These are going to be the ones that are really trying to run things and maneuver, not those that are kind of out there with a big face like Biden or Harris themselves. They won't really be the ones that are running. It'll be those that are behind the scenes.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, like I said, ABI, I appreciate you taking my call. You're the one that really got me into, you know, you pretty much hit the tipping point for me as far as politics, and I appreciate everything you do, and I'm going to keep supporting you, brother.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, you take care. God bless.
Thank you. All righty, let's get to some more here. Let's go. Our caller online, I'm speaking to 217.
ABL, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Can't complain about yourself.
Oh, fine and dandy. I tell you, I'm multitasking. I got you on my phone, and the cotton bowl's on. So this is complicated. The reason I called you though, I hope you're pulling for the Gators. You are in the Southeastern Conference camp, I hope, but whatever. Anyway, the Gators are having a tough time. About that Lincoln statue thing. I haven't heard everything. Of course, like I said, I've been watching the Cotton Bowl here, but I've been multitasking. I just don't believe in pulling down statues, period. And that said, I don't like Lincoln. Everybody does because that's what they're taught in school. But you dig a little deeper, and he wasn't the best guy. He really wasn't. People are going to beat me down for that, but it's true. He didn't believe he didn't believe that black people could live amongst us. They needed to be shipped off to another country. That's what he was planning to do before he was assassinated. And not only that, but slavery came to an end all over the world without wars like we had. And he did all kind of tyrannical stuff. I'm sure you probably know. I mean, just threw the Constitution out the window, said, I'm the president. I'll shut down this, shut down that. Anyway, I didn't want to get into all that. I'm not a big fan of Lincoln, aside from the fact that also he never freed one single slave. If you can find the name of a slave he freed, because he didn't. But
so what did he do with what did he do with emancipation?
He freed the slaves in a country that wasn't his. That was a proclamation for everybody in the country he was fighting. We were divided at that time. I think his efforts probably helped. Probably helped and ended up freeing the slaves. Anyway, I didn't want to get into those weeds. What I wanted to say was, which I think I've made my point, that I really don't like him as much as we're supposed to like him. But what I really wanted to say was, that doesn't matter. He was a great historical figure. You can go back and study history. You can get deep in the weeds. You can read all you want and find out about these people and see if you like them or not. But there's not a single person that has a statue anywhere that you couldn't go back and go, well, you know what? They did a bad thing here. Let's tear down the statue. The point I'm making here, I'm a guy that really, I don't like Lincoln. I think he's been built up to be what he wasn't. But I am vehemently against tearing down any statue of Lincoln or anyone else. If you don't like the statues that are out there, you know what? Find the people you like, and you raise the money and build a statue for somebody that you like. Going out and tearing down statues, that was my main point. Is my main point. I'm fine. I see Lincoln statues everywhere. I'm fine with them. I'm against people going out and tearing down statues. Unless it was Stalin. And they put up a Stalin statue in, let's say, Chattanooga. Then I'd be like, I don't know. Let's tear that down. But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, like I was saying the same thing. It's like leave everything up. All the historical figures in American history, leave them up because people have their opinion, good, bad, ugly, sad, happy. It doesn't matter. Leave everything up. And then we can understand what's really going on with history. We can have debates. We can have discussions. But then we start taking stuff down and start removing and starting to change things and starting to paint a narrative, that's a whole different ball of wax that I don't want to get into.
I'm with you 1,000%. I don't like the people that want to go out and tear down statues, and they don't even know what they're tearing down. Most of the people that are doing it. Even if you disagree with a statue, I mean, these things at the time they were erected, whether it was last week, a month ago, a year ago, 20 years, 100 years ago, people raise money to put these up. They're not cheap, and they're beautiful statues. Even people you don't like, you can't help but look at them and go, man, that's a nice statue. I don't like people tearing down statues. And I'm from Paducah, Kentucky. We haven't had much come up about it lately, but there's a statue of a Civil War Confederate general in a prominent place in town, and he died, and his wife left all her money to build a high school, the biggest high school in town. Really? We're going to tear his statue down? Do any of you know this man? I don't know. Nobody's tearing it down right now. I'm mad about people tearing down Lincoln statues. And as I've already said, I'm not a fan of his.
Right.
But I'm vehemently opposed to tearing down his statues. That's nuts. I mean, whether I like him or you like him, most people love him.
I got you, man. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right. I just want to tell you, I am totally against tearing down these statues. I don't care who they are.
Well, I agree with you, man. Thank you for your call.
All right. Thank you, ABL. You have a good New Year.
All right, now, same to you.
All right.
All right. Shout out to the call. I most certainly appreciate him. Let's get to the next one here. All right, call in the line 52719.
Yeah. Hey, it's Derek.
All right. I got feedback in the background. Turn the speakers down for me, please.
Yes, sir. Down. Got me?
All right, got you. So what's happening?
Oh, not much. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Can't complain.
Awesome. Yeah, man. So I just, I hear a lot of the callers kind of talking about specific issues, but I'd like to ask you, what do you think in a more broad sense as far as, where this country is going? We got Trump, luckily, by the grace of God. But, one person can only do so much whenever you have, a House and a Senate full of these politicians that are just sitting there, not really doing anything for the people.
Okay, so what's your question?
So my question is basically, what should we do? I mean, we can elect the president, and that helps. But whenever you have a bunch of people in office that aren't backing them up, aren't helping them out, we're not really getting anywhere. I've heard ideas like a new political party, things like that. I'm just wondering if you've ever looked into that and what your opinion is on, maybe I saw somebody in the chat talking about a Patriots party, something along those lines.
Okay,
versus,
well, I'm gonna speak on that right quick. Now, I don't like the idea of starting a new party because there's plenty of parties. People have this false sense that we only have a two-party system. Well, let me take that back. There is a two-party system, but there's more than two parties. You understand? There's a lot of parties. People start parties every day. People run randomly and just start a party, but it takes a long time to create a party and maintain it and build it up and get people to join all over the nation. It takes a long time to build a GOP, the Democratic Party. They've been around since before, like the GOP was created in 1854, which is younger than the Democratic Party. So you're talking about 200 years? So it's a long time these parties are around to take hold. So I think the main thing would be, first thing, we have to kind of break apart this swamp thing. And it's going to take more than one guy and more than one term to be able to do it. The thing that Trump was trying to do is the equivalent of terraforming the whole planet with his own hand. It's not going to be thing you could just do in a short period of time. So I think what we got to do is get to the youth. And also people that are out there that aren't really in politics, that don't really have a desire to run for politics, they got to be recruited by the people that live in their particular area. You got to start local. The national thing is going to be a whole different challenge, but locally is where it's got to start. And get people that don't really want to run, but can run and can be effective, that are not career politicians, to go in there and make something happen. And then you get some of the younger people, like the young man that called my show the other day, 11 years old, involved in politics. You got to get the kids when they're early, so then when they grow up, they're not gonna be just a company guy or girl doing whatever the party says. They can think a little bit for themselves, and then once they're all out there kind of doing whatever they're doing, they won't just be, more cannon fodder for the Democratic Party, Republican Party. They can kind of go their own way. So they can change one of the existing parties, or it could be enough of them to create their own and start that. But if you want to create your own and start that, understand that it won't be an overnight process. I think the first thing is going to be to try and reform what we have already, because if we can't reform what we have already, then it's going to be hard to create anything else and have it go forward with the laws that are going to be in the books from what's already existing. So you got to change what's happening right now. That take a long time. And then if you want to make something else at a later time, after you change what's happening right now in the country, then you can do that. So that'd be how I go about it.
Oh, yeah, I can definitely see where you're coming from with that. I think you touched on a good point about the youth. I'm a college-aged guy, and my generation is they seem to be very left-leaning. I mean, I know a few, at least in my group, as far as people I work with that are a little bit more reasonable. But you got college campuses and professors, shoving propaganda down their throats and everything like that. So, but I think definitely the people that are the younger people would be a pivotal part in reforming, the system that we have and getting some people in there that are actually going to represent us properly. But
that's right.
So I appreciate your time, man. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
You have a good night.
All right. Yeah, I see that a lot online. People say you need a Patriots party. It's all kind of parties that exist. I mean, you got the Libertarian Party. They're not really serious, in my opinion. Not on a national level. I was reading this comment on Twitter. I was reading it today, matter of fact. I just happened to be scrolling through my tweets to see I was trying to find a video, and I happened to see it in my favorites. And the tweet was something like, if everybody that voted Republican voted Libertarian instead, then you would have Joe Jorgensen or somebody like that. But look at what Joe Jorgensen is all about. Black Lives Matter, hands up, don't shoot. Talking about, I don't really agree with the organization, but I agree with the sentiment. It's the same thing as saying you agree with the organization. It's no different. So you got a lot of these other parties that are infiltrated with the same kind of people you find in the Democratic Party. Prime example, Puff Daddy started a party called Our Black Party or Our Party or something like that. Now, get this. He, quote unquote, started the party right during the election, like in October, right before the election, right? So he started the party, and then some of the key figures in the party were just black folks that were in local politics that are all liberal Democrat. Okay, straight liberal Democrat in there. All you did was just recruit those that don't have a big platform and gave them a big platform by putting in your party, right? And then his first course of action was to endorse Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So it's like, you got a party, but you got all Democrats in there and you're endorsing the Democrats. So if it's going to be a party, look, what kind of pool you're going to select from right now? You're going to have the same people that are on the Hill right now. I've been in D.C. a lot. It's the same people that's there. You're going to be in that same pool. They've been there 20, 30 years. They're young. They've been taught by the same people that are going to be in D.C. You got to change the whole culture, change the whole narrative around. It can't just be, okay, we got a little bit of momentum, start a new party and have it go with that. That's just my humble opinion. Okay, let's get to the next call here. Let me see. 304, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Cameron.
All righty, man. What's going on?
I'm just now. I don't know if you've heard about this news or not, out of California. Surprise, surprise. But these inmates on death row, they've signed up and they find out some way to cheat the unemployment on death row and about to get the needle stuck in them. And they cheated the unemployment, got millions there. They got a credit card sent to them with money on it and everything. And over here in Appalachia, I got a card sent to me, nothing on it for probably all year. All year. And it's hard telling what they're thinking over there in California. I mean, they finally caught it, you know what I mean? They finally caught it, but send some of that money over here to Appalachia, to the east. They want to spend all their money on the west.
Right. And bunch of scams and stuff like that, too. So you saying they were on death row getting this money?
Yeah, you ain't heard about it?
No.
You need to watch NTD, brother. I heard about it on NTD.
Okay.
I don't know what it stands for, but it's good news. Yeah, they got a card through the mail with money on it. They found some way to cheat them. Some of them was in life imprisonment, murders, rapists, house invaders, everything there. And there's no chance of getting out. I mean, well, I don't know what they was spending on, unless it was commissary or a little bit under the table, whatever they was doing.
That's crazy. That's totally crazy. But I don't even doubt it, because California, you got all kind of scams. You got all kind of scams going on, period, all over the nation. Like you said, send some of that money back east, back to where people need it, rather than just letting it be out there, letting it fall into the hands of the scammers. The street guys right now, they're having to field day with all this scamming money that's going on. Meanwhile, regular Americans, law-abiding citizens, it's like, okay, what about me? Like, can I get back to work? Can I get some help? What's going on?
Yeah, and I'm not the one to sign up for unemployment now. Come on. You know how West Virginia's work effort is now.
That's right.
And I'm not the one to sign up on unemployment, but, I mean, I thought it slipped through the cracks, you know what I mean, like most people did. And I still ain't got nothing. I signed up back in March around my birthday, and here it is, December. How many months is that? You all do the math, and that's
about 9.
That's almost, 9 months, 10 months. And the California inmates are getting our money. And I guess they finally caught them, but, I mean, what they can do, they're already life in prison. What they can do, kill them twice?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, next thing I was wanting to talk about, now, I'm sure you heard about GOP people wanting to sue Pence. You heard about that?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Now, what I understand from this lawsuit is they're basically telling a judge to give, I don't know if the judge will give him power or not, but I thought Pence already had the power to choose the electors, and this lawsuit it's saying they want to give Pence the power to choose the electors. I'm like, I don't understand this lawsuit at all. Do you?
No, I didn't look into it too much, but what I saw from the little bit that I did see, I think they were trying to get him to go the way that they want him, rather than. I mean,
do they really think?
Yeah.
Do they really think the best VP in history ain't going to choose the best president over Sleepy Joe, Beijing Biden?
I mean, I don't know. He might not be able to. He might not be able to do what he wants to do according to the law. So I don't know what's going on with the lawsuit or what he can do.
I think he will, because, I mean, it's up to the VP, the president of the Senate, and where these states done sent dueling electors. I mean, he's got to pick one of them. You think VP Pence is going to pick demo rats? What I call them, demo rats. You think he's going to pick demo rats electors over his own GOP? Ain't no way. Then if he does, then they're already got a congressman senator to stand up and inject. I've been trying to call Shelley Moore Capito all week. Can't get through. I've left 3 or 4 voicemails. Ain't no use calling Manchin.
Right.
And it's just complete BS. And I know Pence is going to stand up. I mean, if he don't, then I love Pence to death. I'm honored to be voting for him in 2024. But if he don't, then he doesn't deserve to be on the ticket next election. If he don't.
Well, we're going to see.
He can't go back to being governor.
Yeah, he could. We're going to see what happens coming up here, because it's going to be, like January 7th, I think, or the 6th?
No, it's the 6th, yeah. And,
okay.
When's that protest, or there going to be all these Trump supporters? Is it the 5th or the 6th? Because I've heard
on the
both
6th.
dates.
On the 6th.
Well, it started out as the 5th, didn't it? Because I'm pretty sure I heard the 5th.
Well, they might be up there the whole time. They might be up there for a few days, but I think Trump said the 6th today.
Well, you know how far Washington, D.C. is from the coal fields here. I won't be able to make it, but I hope you go, brother, and support us all.
Yeah, I might be up there. Maybe so. All righty, man. Well, thank you for your call.
Okay, brother. It's good to talk to you.
Oh, definitely, man.
When you come back home to WD?
I don't know. Sometime soon, I'm gonna try to get up there. I don't know about right now because has it been snowing up there? Like, Turnpike, all of that?
Yeah, it snowed on Christmas. Got a white Christmas here.
Oh, okay.
In Coalfield. I guess the whole state got it.
Yeah, hopefully when it get a little bit warmer, I'll go up there for sure.
Are you a Marshall or a Mountaineer fan?
Oh, Mountaineer.
Marshall or Mountaineer? Mountaineer.
Yeah.
All the way.
100%.
You think they'll beat Army tomorrow? You gonna watch them?
I might watch. I think they could pull it out. We'll see.
Well, see, Army don't play as big a school as West Virginia do. So I mean, West Virginia's got the talent, I think. But who knows? It go either way. All right, good talking to you, brother.
All right, now take care. All right, shout out to the great call from West Virginia, because y'all know I'm from there originally. Like, my family sounds just like that. Like, when you get people up there, everybody sounds the same. So shout out to the caller. Great call. Always enjoy them. Let's get some more calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. All right, caller, you on line speaker to 917.
Hello?
Yes.
I can't believe you answered. This is amazing.
Well, I'm glad you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
No, because I was like, I'm going to try one more time and see what happens. Anyways, your show is great. I'm glad you're out there. I totally support you. I just wanted to talk about, I watched one of your videos. My name is Lisa. I live in New York. I live in Brooklyn, in South Brooklyn. And, people keep sort of attacking us New Yorkers or saying, it's our fault because we voted for Cuomo or de Blasio. And I'm not so sure that we did, because I don't know anyone that's ever liked them. I don't know anyone that's ever said I support them or I voted for them, even before COVID happened. You know what I mean? And with all this election fraud, I'm not so sure that our elections aren't, I don't know, sort of rigged, You know
what? That's a good point, because after what we've seen in this election, it kind of calls into question other elections. Like, all right, is everything above board? Is everything legitimate? Is everything, okay? Like, what's really going on? So that's a really good point you bring up.
Yeah, it's it's scary, because I don't know, I don't know what the future holds, for us New Yorkers, or what's going to happen, And I know when I went to the polls to vote, I live in a Russian neighborhood, and people don't speak English, and they support Trump because I talk to them. They say they see the propaganda, they see right through it. They don't want socialism. They see it. They see right through it, 100%. They put Trump and Pence twice on the ballot, under Republican and conservative. I have a photo of it. And I asked the guy, they gave us no directions. I needed no idea, anything to vote. It was crazy. But I asked him, and he said, yeah, don't mark both because the ballot will be voided.
Wow.
Yeah. And I said, oh, really? And he said, and I said to him, they're probably doing that on purpose. And he said, exactly.
Ah.
So, yeah. So anyways, I just kind of wanted to stand up for us New Yorkers that we're not happy. I used to work in Midtown in the hotels, and my job was not, filled with white people. It was filled with all kinds of races, and we all lost our union jobs. And I don't see that coming back, Even if our jobs finally come back someday, the hotels are just dying like crazy. I mean, I don't even know if anyone wants to visit New York.
The thing about it is,
so many families were affected.
They might want to come to New York, but if things are closed and you can't really enjoy yourself, then it's like, why?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, I'm excited I got through. Like I won, I don't know, a game show or something. So I listen to you all the time. And I'm just, I'm happy you answered, and I'm happy that you do the show. I think it's important for, people that are paying attention to what's going on and are seeing through the media, to have outlets of information that's a little bit more correct than what they're feeding people and creating all this violence and all this division. And, I went through 9/11 and people say, oh, New York got back after 9/11. Well, this is different. We are divided. We are so divided. There wasn't crime like this. There was a blackout after 9/11 and it was peaceful. There was no crime. We were united as people. So I don't know. Anyways, thank you for answering. I won't take up any more of your time.
All right. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Of course. Bye-bye.
All righty. Great call. Yeah, right now it's a crazy time. It's kind of hard to put it into word. Like what's happening right now was just pure government overreach. When you had 9/11, that was a terror attack. That was like we were victimized by a foreign power. But now you got the government, you got the U.S. government doing it. And it's a thing that does not need to actually be. It doesn't need to be this way. 860, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, it's Sonia. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain about yourself.
All right. So I was thinking that the next time Hillary Clinton appears on the Breakfast Club, that she could kill two birds and just introduce herself as Hilaria.
Hey, might as well just adopt that whole new thing, and then she can really just pander to the people of color, the BIPOC base that the Breakfast Club has. Perfect solution.
Yeah, black and brown in one shot.
There you go.
It's funny because I remember there was a time when Madonna was talking with a British accent. I don't know if you ever paid attention to that. But
I do remember that. I think Lindsay Lohan did the same thing. It's like, okay, you guys are from America, Detroit, New York. Stop with the British accent.
I didn't know about Lindsay. Okay, so about the statues, let's just pretend for argument's sake that we didn't want them and they all meant the same thing to us. I always say this, and I don't know where I got the idea from. I really don't know if I heard it from you even, but the focus on the statues instead of statutes, because where is the tangible help that this is doing for the people? If the statue makes you feel a certain way, okay, but at the end of the day, it's still not contributing to any of the problems that, or fixing any of the problems that they're talking about. And then you said they had a committee that voted on it, or 12,000 people, and I'm thinking, all these committees for things like this, but no committees that do anything that actually puts, the help in the hands of the people in a real way.
Well, yeah, of course. That's kind of how these things go. I think people that sign up for the petition to remove it, the 12,000 people, I think they just see the statue.
Oh, a petition.
Yeah, it was a petition.
Okay.
I think that they see the statue and they're ignorant. They don't know anything about it, so they go ahead and sign off on it, and they don't even understand what the greater plan is. The greater plan is to remove the history, so then those that are removing it can replace it with their own history, because they're going to replace that statue with something else. Mm-hmm. And who knows what that's going to be. They might put George Floyd right there and then have that be history going forward.
But the thing with statues, technically, isn't it a work of art? So if so, it's up for interpretation. And if it makes them feel a certain way, well, that's their interpretation. I was offended by cuties, but they said that's art.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. But see, I guess, things that kind of standard changes depending upon the situation, according to some people.
Now let's talk about the nurses, because let me tell you, the people who say that, we don't take the virus seriously, or we think it's a hoax, that we don't understand that the hospitals are overcrowded and all this stuff, they're the same ones who come to the defense of the nurses and tell us to lighten up, because they're just having fun or releasing some steam or whatever. But I'm thinking, I don't care what kind of work you do unless you're a professional dancer. You shouldn't be doing that at work unless you're at a Christmas party, right? I mean, that's not what you're there to do. And then the thing also is that these dances are choreographed, so there's some time put into it. I don't get it.
100% correct. And the thing is, I remember seeing a guy get arrested in New York for having an underground party. It's like, okay, you can't do that. You're having this, more than 10 people in the place and you congregating inside or whatever. But then the nurses are having a whole dance party with way more than 10 people. They're not socially distanced, and that's fine. We got to celebrate that. And if we say, hey, what about this? You guys supposed to be crowded and you can't do that, and then we get attacked. But if it's the other way around, it's regular people, then they get attacked. So there's no standard upon which they can be consistent.
Yeah, and then they said that singing at church was risky.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the mask thing. When they first started saying that the masks don't matter, I thought too, just what Fauci was saying, that they just wanted to make sure that there wouldn't be a shortage, because you know what happened with toilet paper. So maybe they thought that they weren't going to have enough for the nurses and all that. But even if that's true, then they technically put us in jeopardy, didn't they? And now we're supposed to flip a switch and believe what they say? Like you said, when do we know when they're telling the truth?
Exactly, because, okay, if they're telling me I don't need to wear the mask, and then I don't wear it, and then I caught it, and then something happened, or I spread it, it's like, okay, so who's responsible? You knew the whole time that I need to wear it because it's going to help prevent the spread, but you told me not to get it. Now, you could say that there was a virtuous reason for it, but you put me in jeopardy if what they say about a mask is true anyways, it's probably not. So they can't really, if you put me in jeopardy one time for a quote unquote greater purpose, I'm not going to believe anything else because it could be for a greater purpose that is beyond me that might actually hurt me, the same as the first lie that he told.
Yeah, because if the masks are going to make the difference, then you didn't care about us back then. And then last thing, and I'll let you go. Do you think that when Kamala Kwanzaa gets into office, that she'll finally stop pandering?
Oh no, because her whole role in the office will be to pander. That's why they picked her. Okay, you got the black and you got the East Indian. So whenever anything comes up relating to these particular groups, you're going to be the person we go send out there to talk about it. So there will never be any kind of end to the pandering. It's going to be perpetual pandering while she's in office if they get there.
Oh boy, that's going to be something. All right, then I'll let you go to your other call. Let's have a good show.
All right, thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah, Kamala Harris is going to be doing more and more and more and more of the pandering. That's her whole role. That's what she's going to do. All right, Joe Biden, and especially with Joe Biden not really being able to say anything. Joe Biden's pretty much a shell of his former self, so he won't say too much at all. 519, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
Yeah, dude. I just wanted to call and say hi. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Okay, so I wanted to tell you it's my birthday today, so wish me a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And what do you think of Kamala Harris getting a vaccine today, or yesterday, or whenever?
Anytime I see somebody get a vaccine on television, I don't believe it.
I know, but Kamala Harris.
I mean,
I had every faith in the world in that chick, man. Like I'm Canadian, and my faith went into her, and she went and sat and got a vaccine. So what do you make of that? Your
faith went into her? What do you mean? Explain that.
No, I mean, I'm Canadian. We get a skewed reality, you know. But for me, the last thing I ever expected to see was her sitting to get a vaccine. So what do you make of it?
I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't expect that, because she's a Democrat, just like all the rest of them. So
right.
I don't know.
Right.
I mean, that's just what they do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm shocked, dude.
No, don't be shocked. I mean, that's what they're going to do on that side. Anybody on that side will allegedly get a vaccine. And then the thing about it is, you can't believe whatever you see on television, because, okay.
Allegedly, exactly.
If she got stuck with a needle, what's in the needle? You don't know. I don't know either. It could be anything. It could be straight.
It's probably a flu shot. It's probably a flu shot.
It could be straight water or sugar. Who knows?
It could be anything. Exactly. So what I'm saying now is that my faith in her has just completely flunked. It's gone. I have no more faith in her. Really, I don't. It's gross. Don't you agree?
I mean, I kind of feel your pain that you had some faith in her, but it's just a lesson.
A little bit of faith in her, a little bit.
It's a lesson.
Yes.
Don't trust these people on that side of the aisle, because they're gonna do that to you.
Yeah. No, I know. All right, dude. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thanks for taking my call, brother.
All right, no problem.
Keep going. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, shout out to the Canadian callers. But you know what? Canada, being a conservative in Canada is a thing. So if you're in Canada and you're conservative at all, then hats off to you, because it's like that's not even a thing that even exists over there. When we're talking about politics, everything's pretty much liberal. Even the conservatives are kind of liberal. So shout out to all the conservative Canadians. You guys are a rare breed. Let's get to the next call. 914, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
All right. Shout out to the
Hello.
Canadian callers.
All right, 914. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. What's happening?
Anthony Brian Logan, am I speaking to you?
You're speaking to me right now, live, boss. What's happening?
Hi. My name's Angel. I wanted to touch on the Lincoln issue. You had a caller saying he didn't like Lincoln. Basically, I wanted to encourage people to read Lincoln's Lyceum address. In that address, people could see it. He's talking about a lot of the things that are happening now. He touches on mob rule. He touches on a lot of issues that are happening now. He was only 28 years old. He could not have known he was going to be president at that age. And I have trouble speaking, publicly, but basically, you also talked about speaking to the young kids now locally. If they can read this address and Lincoln's second inaugural address, they can really see how great he was as a president and how his Lyceum address really touches on what's happening now. And it was a long time ago. He was at age 28.
Right. Wow.
So I encourage people to read Lincoln's Lyceum address and his second inaugural address. More people are familiar with his second inaugural address, but it really touches on really how great he was, and maybe that's why they're trying to cancel him, because just by talking of the history of what Lincoln wrote and what he said in the speech, and this speech was given to a group of young kids. You could tell he's already trying to reach the minds of young kids, because it was at the time of lynching, and how he's speaking to young kids about how our republic, our threat to our republic can't come from abroad; it could only come from within. It's a very, very, very important address, and I wish people read it, and it makes it through history books, because it's something I had to research on my own.
Right.
Okay, and I'm surprised I got on. I called so many times that I'm like good at this, but that's the point I wanted to make. I'm just defending Lincoln, and I know some people, they're trying to cancel him, but he was way before his time, and his Lyceum address again applies right now. It's amazing. It's a little long, but it's amazing, and he's speaking to teenage soccer players. So he's trying to reach the minds of young kids. He also speaks about the genius of emancipating slaves. And again, I stress, he could not have known he was going to be a president at the age 28.
Right. I'm with you, man. Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay. All right. You're welcome.
Great call. That's some good recommendation for reading right there. Anybody listening, definitely read what he recommended. Let's get to the next call. 615 on the line. I'm speaking to.
Hey, it's Eric from Hendersonville. What's going on?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
I got to turn it down a little bit. You're loud. Hold on, let me turn this down. There we go. Oh, man, that phone line's busier than Joe Biden's handlers, dude. Jesus Christ. It took me a while. But, man, I was going to talk about a couple things, but the statues, man. I ain't down with taking down statues except for one. That Brianna Taylor statue should have been gone a long time ago. I don't even know how long it stayed up anyway. But I wish dude would have just pulled the RV up next to that thing and just, boom, blew that thing sky high a long time ago.
Wow.
For real. So, yeah, that's crazy. But about the video with them kids, man, throwing the bikes and jumping up on the windshield of that lady, I don't think so, man. If that's me, I'm right there, dude. I'm scared for my life. I'm jumping out like yippee-ki-yay, man. I give them 13 reasons why right then, dude. You know, because they trying to hurt you seriously. You know, that glass could have got on that lady, and all that, man. So I can't believe that. I don't even know what came of that, but that's crazy. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
And they probably found out she was a TikTok nurse or something. I wouldn't doubt it one bit, man. If I see another one of them videos, man, I swear it's killing me. The videos are ridiculous, man. They're supposed to be packed from down here. They say from the windows to the walls. They say that it's out into the parking garage. They got people out in the parking garages. They got people out in the hallways. That is woo flu going crazy. So that's what we hear. But then we look on TV and we see dancing. So
exactly, it's like which one is it? Y'all packed from the window to the wall, or you got time? Or you got time to do a whole dance routine in the concert in the hospital? It can't be both at the same time.
Exactly. They're like, no, it's crazy here. It's crazy. We just can't handle it. We can't handle it. And then we look on TV and here they are dancing. We ain't got time to dance at work. If they got all these people out in the parking lot, they're talking about that they're out in the parking garage. That's what we hear. That's the rumor going around town in Nashville that it's out in the parking garage and people out there dying and blah blah blah. And so they don't know what they're doing, man. But all I know is that Kamala Harris is all about that Kwanzaa. She's all about what's that other religion with the candles, man? I can't even think of it right now. But she was just celebrating that the other day too.
Right.
You see that video? She was celebrating the Kwanzaa, and then she celebrated the other one, and with the menorahs, and then she gonna celebrate Christmas, man. What else she got, man? She got everything.
She probably pretty much do whatever they tell her. It's like, okay, Kamala, go out there and celebrate this. Put this outfit on, and just do whatever we say. You know, read the cue cards, read the teleprompter.
It's crazy, man. You got to wonder who the puppet. I mean, who the puppet master really is behind her. Because you like to think she's the one running Joe Biden. I saw a video. It might have been on Salty. I think it was on Salty Cracker today that Joe Biden was on TV again. Every time they shoot him up with whatever juice they'd given him to get on stage, he says the truth, and he straight up said the president-elect Kamala Harris.
Yep.
He said, "Dude, come on, man." He just throwing. He did it last time, throwing it out there, just throwing it out there for everybody, man. It's just crazy, man. Everything's just wild, man. But shout out to the chat, man. That chat is crazy tonight, man. These people, it's like a party, man. I couldn't even hardly think about what I was going to call you about because I was laughing so hard. And so shout out to the chat. Shout out to you, man. Sorry about your dad, man. We all got love for you, man. And sorry about that, man. Our condolences, man.
Well, I thank you for that, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a good one. Thanks for taking my call, buddy.
All right, same to you. All right, great call. Yeah, these TikTok nurses are wearing me out. You talking about how crowded everything is, all this, that, and the third, but I can't really tell. All right, Skype caller, who am I speaking to?
Hi.
Hey.
Hi, it's Mixed Girl PLV on YouTube. What's up?
Everything's good. Can't complain about yourself.
I'm doing well. Once again, I'm sending my condolences, many prayers, and much love to you and your family during this difficult time.
Thank you.
Yay, I got through. Great. Awesome. So real quick, I'm sure that we all have heard about, the girl who just got canceled for saying the N-word and a very old video that ABLM recently posted this year in 2020. But I was curious to know if you heard about the guy in Ohio. There was an altercation in the gas station. Did you hear about that N-word reference?
Oh yeah, I saw that one with the twisted T.
Yeah, that dude. Okay, for everyone who doesn't know, there was a Caucasian dude and an African American dude. They were in line at the gas station. They start exchanging words. Caucasian dude says, F blank your mama, and then he said the N-word. And then African American dude, he was really fed up, and he just took his his can and smashed it on dude's face, and then they start fighting. So I thought that was pretty crazy, but
yeah, that was wild because the black dude was just trying to be calm because the white dude was saying the N-word repeatedly. He was just trying to be calm, not really trying to say too much, but then the white dude was kind of like antagonizing him. And then the black dude grabbed the T to just say, be like, all right, I need you to go ahead and stop right now. Then the white dude was like, nah, go ahead, hit me, N-word, hit me. And then the dude kind of like, he kind of like tossed it in the air, the twisted T, and he dropped it. And then the white dude kicked it to try and prevent him from picking it up. But then when he did that, he picked the T up and hit him with it. Bam! It was like a counter attack. And it was like Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the wrestling days, breaking the beer and then drinking it. It was like that because the T exploded. And then he, wrestled to the ground, hit him with a few right hooks. It was beautiful.
ABL, I know it did look like some kind of a wrestling fighting match, and and your story is way more funny than how I would recall it. So good stuff. So my question to you about the whole N-word controversy and stuff is, why does it seem like it's okay for, like, say, African Americans to say the N-word? Is very embraced in hip hop culture and rap songs and all that stuff. And then they turn around and then get mad when a Caucasian or someone else says the N-word. Like, I think there's some hypocrisy, double standard kind of things going on. So I was curious, what are your thoughts about the N-word and why African Americans are kind of cool if other African Americans say it, but not if someone else says it?
Okay, I mean, that's a good question. Personally, I don't think that any kind of racial slurs are okay to say. I don't use any kind of racial slurs. I don't care if it's towards a black person, white person. I think it's all the same thing. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan. I think it's dumb when you got these rappers, especially like I saw one instance where it was a rap concert, and then the rapper called white guys on stage, or at least one white guy on stage, and then they're rapping along with the song. He's on the stage performing, and then the N-word comes up. And then the white guy says it or kind of comes close to saying it, and then the rapper got mad. It's like, why are you getting mad? You put the lyrics in the song. This is a fan that you brought on stage. Why can't they sing, your song? If you don't want anybody to say those lyrics, don't make those lyrics. That's kind of how I feel. Now I do understand sometimes when a situation, you can have fighting words. And it might not even be the N-word. It could be something else. But if it's anything that's said aggressively, you cannot even cuss at me and say something aggressively. Now I'm on guard. I might get my twisted T and get ready to beat you in the head with it if I feel like I'm in jeopardy or I'm in danger. So I feel like context means everything. It might not even be the N-word. But if people are just mad at the N-word, then they shouldn't be using it themselves. That's a big time hypocritical stance, for sure.
Exactly. I feel the same way. Let's just stop saying it altogether. Let's just stop saying it. It's a word that really adds no value to anything, and but it first needs to start with the African Americans because they're the ones that they greet. Hey, what's up, Mike? Yo, my. It just needs to stop and don't get mad and offended and play the victim when other people say it. It has to start with them. So, but anyways, well, thank you, ABL. Yay, I finally made it on. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Thanks. Take care. God bless.
All right, now. All right, so the caller was Mixed Girl POV. She has a YouTube channel. Y'all go check her out. Again, Mixed, MIXED Girl POV. Alrighty. But yeah, the whole N-word thing, I don't use that kind of language in general. I don't use no racial slurs or nothing like that. I just don't do it. Any kind of racial slur against somebody, I'm not really into it. Okay. So I'm just not into the hypocrisy. If somebody just says the N-word and it just say it, and then somebody else says it and it's okay, it can't be wrong when the other person says it. It just don't make a whole lot of sense to me personally. Now, like I said, if it's like fighting words where anything you say in a certain context can be seen as aggressive, like somebody said it in the chat, they could have been saying Nutella over and over again. It would have been the same result because it's aggressive and you're trying to antagonize me. Right now, if I'm in that situation, I got to defend myself. There's a certain town in Georgia where fighting words are actually illegal, or if fighting words were used to provoke somebody and a person gets attacked or assaulted, then there might not be any kind of criminal charges. That might be the case in some situations, because if you are provoking me, you're threatening me or whatever, now I got the right to defend myself. That's kind of how that goes. But, my general train of thought is, if somebody does not touch you first, then keep your hands to yourself. But if somebody's threatening you, then that's kind of a gray area. But I digress. Yeah, it's all about the tone. That's it. Behind anything you say, regardless of whether it's a racial slur or not. All right. 323, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
I just won the lottery. Hey, Bill, this is Isaiah calling from LA.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Yes, I just wanted to say I appreciate your show. Appreciate what you're doing. I once seen your Ocean Duke Jackson channel.
Yeah.
And I got you from him. Yeah. Kind of nervous right now. But
it's all good, man.
LA is kind of going south, like in downtown, and especially in Venice Beach. You have the homeless population rising, which is causing all these places in LA to drive down the property value, also with the crime and drugs that they carry. And you have Gavin Newsom and Eric Garcetti, also got their hand in these things in order to drive down the property values in LA, and I guess in all parts of California. It was crazy. And it's also happening in New York. There's lobbyists that, sit on a round table with Eric Garcetti, Cuomo, and Gavin Newsom to buy up all of these properties that are going down in these places, getting rid of the middle-class businesses in these areas. They're buying it up. They have the homeless staying in a Ritz-Carlton hotel, I guess a hotel in downtown, which is a very high-end, living space. And you got the homeless staying there, and you have homeless taking up all of downtown. What I think is going to happen is that they're going to buy up all these properties after the prices are driven down, buy them up, then put their people in these vacant spaces, and they're going to drive these prices right back up. And it's all a part of, the whole Joe Biden situation as well, with him raising up the taxes in California in order to take up all these vacant areas in order to have control, from now to the future, as they already do got control. But I don't believe all of California voted for Joe Biden. I believe it was kind of like half and half, because there was a bunch of people, Beverly Hills, Manhattan, even in LA, the greater parts of LA, are not, voting for this guy. But I believe that Gavin Newsom, the way he was elected too, and Eric Garcetti, I believe things that just have to be rigged, because it doesn't make sense for these policies to be getting pushed upon the people, the residents of LA, especially with all these restrictions with the coronavirus, which are saying the World Health Organization said, okay, you guys haven't seen nothing yet, so what are they going to do? Make the virus much stronger to actually kill people? And once they buy up all of California, then it's going to be New York. Then they're going to go probably state to state until they bought up the whole country.
It makes a lot of sense. I thought about that too. It's like, is there a greater plan? Because a lot of these things that they do, it's not just about right now. It's about the future, and they're trying to plan for the future. There's really high real estate, and they're trying to make a place unlivable. And then they come in and swoop it up, and they put whatever they want to put there. I think the same thing is happening right now in Detroit. They could come in, get all that cheap property, and make that be whatever they want it to be. So yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah, and I'm just sad for the future. It's like people are just so manipulated and brainwashed that they can't actually see what is going on. You see these lockdowns, you see all these restrictions, but yet you're still want to be affiliated with these organizations, BLM, and these political parties, the political party that is basically controlling your life, just micromanaging basically. And it's going to be full-blown them controlling you, especially with Amazon taking over because they're big. They have facial recognition. They have all this Alexa and stuff in people's homes. They already bought rings and, you know, monitoring people inside their homes and stuff like that. It's just, I'm just, everybody just needs to be aware of what's going on. And all these big tech companies, big businesses that are actually taking over, and they're actually monopolizing the businesses that are using their platforms by creating cheaper products, which is Amazon, creating their products versus all these other brands. And it's basically, you're going to have Amazon, you're going to have one, possibly one Amazon accessory or appliance, whatever it may be, in your home to the point that they're monitoring you and listening to everything that you're saying. And it's just crazy. I don't know why Americans are just letting this happen. It's like, I understand technology, you know, it's supposed to be, you know, make our lives better. But when it comes to controlling people and actually you having no privacy, it's going to be like Minority Report. You're going to be able to read your mind and predict a crime before it even happens and arrest you before you even do the crime. It's just crazy.
Yeah, but, man. A lot of good points.
Yeah. I appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing. This is crazy because it's like the lottery. I've been trying to call forever and I never got through. I finally got through in this. Appreciate everything that you do, man.
Well, thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem. Have a good one. Bye.
All right. Great call. Excellent call. Really knowledgeable. You know, all the facts, all the ducks in a row. All righty. And thank you all for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the internet. If you enjoy what you're hearing so far, give me a thumbs up on the video. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. And when you do subscribe, if you're subscribing for the first time or you got to resubscribe or whatever the case may be, click that bell so you get notified whenever I go live and or post a new video. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next one. 631, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, is this Anthony?
Yes, it is.
Hey, it's Ann from New York.
All righty. I got some feedback in the background. Turn your speakers down for me, please.
Oh, yeah. It's every time I turn it off, the phone is busy for another 10 more minutes.
Oh, it's all
so
good.
I can't hear you, you know? The thing first of all, the statues. What is that about? What are they trying to start America over? I mean, I don't understand. I'm not good with change with anything, let alone history, American history. And I think President Lincoln, was a hero. I mean, he died. He was assassinated for freeing slaves. Sure. Why would you want to take that down?
People are ignorant, don't know any better.
I'm like floored that they're allowing it. We're taking it down. We're moving it around and putting it in a place wherever. I don't know. Maybe they're going to throw it out. I don't know. And then the other thing with the TikTok and the nurses, I was a nurse for 42 years, okay? Trust me. Sometimes you got to take it easy. And you do got to dance around. And you know what you're doing. You can do it while you're working even, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it does relieve a lot of tension that you're feeling inside, you know? You feel sad, you feel hurt, you feel hard, you know? It's just a way of releasing. I think people are a little too hard on that. I think a lot of it is just made up. It's not real. I don't believe that that's real.
Now, I'm asking you this though. Do you think that a lot of these TikTok nurses that got these big choreographed things, are they like extremely busy? You see what I'm saying?
No,
like,
I don't think they're working when they do that.
Okay.
But I used to do it when I worked, not with a whole bunch of people.
Right. My thing is if they're not really busy and they do that, okay, I understand. Yeah. But if
you can do it while you're working too.
If I'm being told that they're extremely busy and you know the ER is filled to the top and they can't do anything.
No, you can't do that. No, right. You can't do that.
Right.
No, but you can do it even while you're standing there and working. You could talk even because you're doing it for so long. You know what you're doing. It's not like you're not, you know, focusing on what's happening. But it does relieve the tension. We feel the tension just as much as everybody else. And it does relieve a lot. every once in a while, you just got to let it go, and it doesn't hurt anything, the procedures or anything. And those nurses on the TikTok, I honestly feel that's being taken while they're off work. It's like choreographed something, I don't even know what TikTok is. I heard it's President Trump hates it. It's Chinese. It's or some. Is there something wrong with it?
Well, it is. It's a Chinese company that owns it, and a lot of these Chinese apps, they spy on you. Like, it was all kind of things they got caught doing. They were caught recording your keystrokes and copying your clipboard. So let's say you copy and pasted it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
that's scary.
If you have any kind of Chinese application like that on your phone, they report to the Chinese Communist Party. Any company in China. Yeah, any company in China will report to the CCP. So if you got that kind of, and the whole point of TikTok is to be a data mining thing because it's free, and the way they get paid is from mining data, and all that goes to the Chinese Communist Party. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, I refuse to put it. I refuse to get it, that app. And I'm in New York, so I'm afraid of everything right now. I think the world's coming to an end. I'm really not afraid even. I don't even wear the mask, to tell you the truth. I do not wear the mask outside. I will not wear the mask inside. I live by myself with my dog. I don't need a mask on inside the house.
Right.
Don't need a mask outside because nobody's out there. I walk around. I live in a very nice, calm place, and it's beautiful. It's by the beach, North Shore. So there's nobody else walking around, so why do you need the mask on? And if it's airborne, the mask isn't doing anything but hurting you.
Right.
Because you're walking, so you're going to have to mouth breathe, and your mouth gets dry, and next thing you know, you have periodontal disease, cracked teeth. That's happening also.
Right.
So I only wear it when I have to, when I'm going in the store or in a doctor's office. The doctors that I've seen recently do not wear the mask at all, or gloves.
Mm-hmm.
The patient has to wear, the mask. But they, they'll put on gloves if they look at you, but they don't wear a mask.
Right, I'm with you.
It's great. I'm like, what? I guess, it's a virus. Nothing's going to stop a virus. A virus is in the air. And now I'm hearing it comes back in 9 months. If you do contract it. That's just, ugh.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, I thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right, now.
I really appreciate you.
All right,
Bye-bye.
thank you. All righty. Let's get to some more here. 808, you're on the line. I'm speaking to.
Hi.
Yes, sir.
Hey, quick point that I'd like to make, or an observation. I live in Oklahoma, and being one of the reddest states, I'd moved to Hawaii, so I've kind of experienced both sides of the aisles there in living environment. But my observation or concern, if you will, would be seeing BLM, and seeing the police, and of course they fight like cats and dogs. The biggest concern I have is bringing in this oppressive government that I guess Biden and the liberal government that's coming in. I'm worried that he's going to be kind of the tie that binds those two factions together, and I'm kind of worried that we're going to wind up with some kind of a super force, and where they're just joined, and it concerns me being a working class citizen of America. I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. Does it hold any water, or is there just nothing to be worried about in that aspect?
What's your question?
Well, it's not really a question so much as it is an observation about the future of BLM, which we all know is a $1 billion thing going now. And of course, like I said, they fight like cats and dogs with the police. And I'm wondering if, Biden's probably going to be the peacemaker between the two. So what do we wind up with, in the end? What's the end result of that? And and where does the working class citizen stand?
Well, as far as BLM,
You know?
it's always going to be something. It's always going to be a grievance because let's not forget, BLM started under Barack Obama, and then it was always some kind of grievance. Oh, this person got killed by the police. Let's go out here and do X, Y, and Z, and cry and riot and all this and that. That's kind of how it works. Okay, so it's going to be a constant grievance thing, and it's going to be a racket for them to be able to raise money. Biden and them, they'll pretty much just cater to them. It might be some kind of money's given to him, hopefully not. But I think that he'll probably try to legitimize them as an actual organization. Maybe even try to protect them. Not sure how well that'll work. But if he'll do anything, which he might not, he probably won't touch him on a 10-foot pole. But if he does anything, it'll only be positive and not anything negative.
Okay, great. I mean, I just wanted to get your aspect on that, and because I think you're pretty well schooled in things such as this nature, and so I thank you for your time, and keep up the good work, and God bless America.
Well, thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening.
All righty, let's go. 919 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Ed Raleigh.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to say, I heard about your old man and give you my condolences. I'm a younger guy myself, lost my old man not too long ago, and it's a tough one. And being dudes, people don't always. It's hard to even know what to say, and regardless, keep your head up. However y'all's relationship was, be grateful you knew him and you got to talk to him when you could. And keep up what you're doing, man. I love the channel. It's fun between you and a handful of folks on YouTube. It's a real good time. So keep it up, sir.
Well, thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Have a good one.
Same to you.
Bye.
All righty. Let's go to a few more here. Let's go. Okay. 832, you're in the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, ABL. How are you? This is Heather in Houston.
I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain about yourself.
I'm good. Hey, I want to send my condolences on your father. It's been quite a year of ups and downs for you. Got married, got a car, moved, and then your father died. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Well, thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to offer another insight into this, why this COVID crisis is really a scam. Did you read the article about the 87-year-old COVID patient that was bludgeoned to death by his hospital roommate who also had COVID?
I heard about that. Now, I didn't hear all the details, but I did hear that they were killed in the hospital room. So what was the details behind that whole situation?
Okay, and this was in all the major newspapers. I read it in the Washington Post, LA Times, New York Times. It happened in Lancaster, California at Antelope Valley Hospital. The 87-year-old patient got out of his bed and was kneeling on the floor to pray. He was a devout Catholic, and he was praying for himself and people, to be healed. And his roommate, who was 37 years old, I think that the older gentleman was 82. I'm sorry, I think he was 82. He was in his 80s. But the roommate was 37, and he became upset by the praying, picked up an oxygen tank, and beat him in the head with it. Now, this is what I get from this. If you're in your 80s and you're suffering from this horrible disease, how can you get out of your bed and get on your knees to pray? And if you're in your 30s and you're suffering from this horrible disease, how can you have the strength to pick up a very heavy oxygen tank and kill somebody with it?
Yeah, you know what?
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, now as you put it to me in that way, the story does not make any sense.
No, neither one of them, in my opinion.
Right, correct. The entire story.
To be in the hospital. I mean, I've had the flu and not been able to get out of my bed and pray or pick up an oxygen tank. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
But it happened. it happened. So another, yet more proof. The TikTok videos, the killing of each other in the COVID hospitals. It's a scam. It's a scam.
Yeah, definitely.
That's all I have to say. And we just need to keep speaking out and sharing truth with each other so we are all awakened to what's happening.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for your call.
Thank you, and you have a wonderful and happy New Year.
All right, now, same to you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty crazy story. I mean, it could be true, but the story is crazy regardless. I mean, it's just like what's really going on in this world where that type of thing happens? 228, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
How you doing, Anthony?
I'm doing all right. Can't complain about yourself.
I can. All we can do is pray, prep, plan, and prepare, brother. Sorry to hear about your dad. I've seen you on YouTube. I've been on YouTube myself since 2017, and I don't want to take too much of your time. Man, you got a busy call center, to say the least.
Yeah, a lot going on.
Well, I tell you, it's folks like yourself, Black Conservative Patriot, and a few others that really make a difference. And it's time that the deep state gets defeated. But tell you what, it's really kind of discouraging to see what we are seeing. Hopefully, folks will get together and not use race as a weapon, not use the manipulated geopolitical scene to enslave the people. You know, I have a website, Mr. Anthony. I've been doing it since 17, truthnotfictionmatters.com. You need to really look at the rally coming up on January 6th. Hopefully it will be a positive result. You know, I do a podcast. I talked about William H. Barr and a few other folks of interest. We were recently disappointed with Attorney General Barr. But what we need to look at now, and not enough people are talking about, the reason I wanted to call in tonight, you have a pretty influential channel. Congratulations to you for that. Is to look at the Senate race in Georgia, which they're going to do a repeat ABL if folks aren't paying enough attention. The drop boxes are being passed out. The absentee with illegal voting is continuing in the state of Georgia. And now the latest with Mr. Luke Letlow, 41, who has been pronounced, passed away due to COVID-19. I've got a couple of folks that have reached out to me. It was for the treatment, Anthony, not COVID-19, when he was administered health procedures in Louisiana. That's a big turning point in this country. Now we have another Republican senator that's no more, adding to the state of Georgia. Your thoughts, sir?
It's a lot there. Like, what do you want? What's your specific question?
Well, my specific question is not really a question. It's basically a plea to the American people. Use due diligence, get educated, look at folks like yourself on the internet. It's time for people to wake up and make a stand. You know, I have a famous thing I say, Mr. Anthony, is hold the line. Folks need to get right with God, and they need to save this country. Removal of the statues is not the only thing they're going to do. They're going to remove everything in existence as far as the founding father principles of this country if we don't wake up. And God bless to you, sir. Keep up the great work, and that's all I have.
Well, thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
All righty. Let's get to a few more. 763, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 765, pardon me. Who am I speaking to?
Anthony, it's Susan from Indiana.
All righty. What's happening?
Well, I just wanted to share a little information with you quickly that you might not know. I have a loved one in the nursing home here, And I don't know if you know, we have the National Guard in our nursing homes, supposedly helping we hear on TV how they're helping our worn out and distressed staff members. But they can't really do much of anything. They can't do anything with any of the patients, of course. They can kind of help in the kitchen, and they can do some things like that. But the main thing I wanted to tell you was, so recently I witnessed what they did was, for months and months, every week they would do testing until they can get you to come up with a positive. My husband came up with positive eventually, never got any symptoms at all, nothing. So he was isolated, where they just shut the door on you and you just sit in there all day. And a lot of these little people aren't even being fed properly or anything. So some of them, he doesn't have any life-threatening problems, but he can't help himself do anything. So here's the long story short is, so he's out of isolation now and everything. So I get the first billing from them. We are paying, our Medicare has now kicked in, and I'm talking about the United States. Our Medicare has kicked in these cases and is paying 3 times the amount of what these rooms usually are.
Wow.
3 times. We have 400,000 people in nursing homes just in Indiana. So you can imagine what this is going to do to our Medicare system across the United States.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. And they're doing it until they can get everybody that they can get, showing that they're positive. He didn't really need anything additional. Of course, they used probably more, gloves and masks and things and whatever. But staffing is not up. In fact, when all this first started months ago, for a while they brought in extra staffing that they could get, but then they realized they could go back to their relaxed, not having anybody working. So they're really not spending any money for staffing either. This has gone on since February, March of last year. Can't get in to help feed your loved one. You have to watch through the window. So we're pretty much being drained, though. I'm going to tell you, this money is just being sucked right out. Yeah,
I mean, that's definitely what it's looking like. You know what? I kind of thought that was going to be the case from the beginning. Just kind of a big, a money grab. It's a big thing that's happening. Opportunity to grab a bunch of money, and that's what's going on. That's what I see happening all over the nation, unfortunately.
So, do you think this could be a part of a bigger plan to crash our economy further, to just totally crash what we've got going?
I mean, it could be. It could be part of a bigger plan, yeah. Or it could just be a matter of people just trying to grab some money. They feel like it's opportunity, and they're trying to cash in, so they're doing it. That could definitely. It could be both. It could be one or the other.
Yeah, it's greedy. The other thing interesting I thought was all of the vaccines that I saw being given to all of our politicians and all of our important people are all the ones from Pfizer. But the ones being offered to the people in the nursing homes are the Moderna. And I'm wondering about that too. They're down to the Moderna now, that's what they're offering. I was just called today and offered and asked if he could take it. And I asked, is it the Pfizer or the Moderna? And she said, it's the Moderna. And I said, I really am not comfortable with it. I'm not sure what it is that it's supposed to be doing.
Right.
Because you still can be a carrier. We don't know if it's going to really help you or for how long, or they know nothing. But by golly, they're pretty sure it's going to handle this new one that's coming. They don't even know it's going to handle this one, but they know it's going to handle the other one that's coming.
Right.
They make no sense. They make no sense, Anthony, at all.
I hear you 100%.
The other one thing, and then I'm going to let you go. Did you happen to catch Cuomo on TV? Believe it was today, saying that the economy in New York was just not going to be able to survive this shutdown, that we were going to have to open things up. Did we not have a president that was saying that?
Wait. Let's pause for a minute. So Cuomo, the governor, said we can open back up because the economy can't survive?
Yeah. They're not going to be able to survive this.
I mean, like I said, we've been saying that for months now. So I'm glad he finally caught on to the train and is willing to get with it.
Absolutely. This is what they've done to this poor man the whole time he's been in, is he says something, they laugh and make fun of it, and like a little later they come along and they parrot the same thing he said.
Right, exactly.
Well, I thank you. I just want to let you know I really appreciate you. I've listened to you for a long time, and I really enjoy most of the people that call in that are callers. You have a good group of people.
Well, I thank you for that, and thank you for your call and your support. Definitely appreciate you.
And God bless you. Sorry for your loss. And
thank you.
Yeah, and thanks a lot.
All right, thank you for the call. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's get to a few more here. Let's go 443 in the line. Who am I speaking to?
No, that's a lie.
Wait.
That's a fantasy.
All right, can you hear me, boss?
Yes, sir.
All righty, what's happening?
Yeah, it's Ed from Maryland.
Okay. All right, what's going on?
Now?
You on live right now?
Oh, shoot. Anyway, I wanted to speak about the COVID-19 and what was going on with that as far as personally.
Okay.
Anyway, my stepson was tested positive a couple of weeks ago, and he had mild to no symptoms, and he has a pre-existing condition. He has heart disease, and he has 3 experimental devices inside of him. And then now I found out today, my mother and father tested with big air quotes positive for the supposed virus. And they have basically nothing going on. They're fine. My father is over 70. My mother is in her late 60s. And I don't know. I think this is way overblown.
Yeah, I believe so. And you know what? The other part about this is a lot of people are getting these diagnoses, and I think the mental strain on them could be contributing to their decline in health because they think that there might be something really wrong and there might be a serious problem. And so, you know, that could really be a big part of what's going on.
Well, I think the throttling of the PCR tests has a lot to do with what's going on. And, I mean, I joke about it with my wife, but, you know, if you don't get tested, then this goes away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big a deal. I mean, we're talking about the flu, honestly.
Yeah.
I had H1N1 back in 2009. I didn't flip out. I didn't blame Obama. I mean, I was sick. I mean, it was terrible. I felt terrible for, I guess it was about 3 days. And life went on. You know, I got over it. I mean, so, I don't know. I mean, I think this is just way overblown. That's all.
I agree with you, man. Absolutely.
Keep doing what you're doing, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Shout out to the caller. I mean, yeah, I agree. It's a virus that's out there. Okay, we get it. But how bad is it really? And like I was saying, I feel like the mental part of it is causing the strain, because it's just like getting a placebo. You might get better because you think you're getting better. You think, oh, I got the cure, I got X, Y, and Z, so now I feel like I'm all right. Yeah, that could be a big part of the whole thing, for sure. All right, so I got time for one more. I might take. Let's go. All right, call your line. I'm speaking to 917.
I mean, I agree. It's a virus that's out there.
917.
Okay.
Hello. Yes. Who am I speaking to?
This is Julius. I'm 11 years old, calling from New York City.
All righty. What's going on?
I wanted to talk about what happened at my school when I was doing ELA.
Were you doing what now?
So I was ELA, like writing.
Okay. So what happened?
Well, I was going to the assignment. I was going to be writing to our future president. And as soon as I opened it in via Cami, I noticed it was a letter to Biden. And then I told my teacher that Biden wasn't our president and that Donald Trump was our president, and that everyone's saying that he's president-elect, but he's not president-elect.
Okay, so what was their response to you?
They told me that he is president-elect and that I had to write the letter to him about how he could fix things. And then I said to them that I'm not going to be writing the letter to him because he's not president-elect.
Okay, now, here's what's going on with that. Now, technically, he would be the president-elect because what that means is that they say that he got elected. Although we disagree with that, that's what they think. So that doesn't mean he is a president, obviously, because you got to be inaugurated first, and he's not done that yet. So the president right now is still Donald Trump. So until Biden becomes inaugurated, then he won't be the president. But president-elect just means that you think you won the election. But that assignment shouldn't even be given to you because what it's really doing is just trying to say, hey, accept the president. This is going to be the guy. Write him a letter and praise him. That shouldn't be put upon you because now we're getting into political things, into political preferences. I don't think that if the president, quote unquote, president-elect were Donald Trump, I don't believe they would be doing, I don't think they would do the same thing. They probably would not give you a letter assignment to write a letter to Donald Trump. It's only because it's Joe Biden. So you got political preferences going on, and that's not really a cool thing to do. So I appreciate you for standing up for yourself and speaking against doing this assignment.
Yeah. And one more thing. I wanted to say, after I was done with school, there's just my account picture. I can choose what my account picture is, and then I chose to put it up of our president, Donald Trump. And as soon as I got off of class, my teacher texted me on Google Guardian that I can't have some political picture of my president on my account. And then I asked her why, because I always had pictures and I always changed it, but she never said anything. And then she told me not to talk back to her.
Oh, wow. Wait a minute. Okay, so let's pause for a minute. So you've had other pictures. What were some of your other pictures that you had before you used the president?
Cartoons, animation, and sometimes like just characters.
Okay, so it can just pretty much be anything. So there was no reason given to you why you couldn't use the president. And for her to say that is not respectful. I mean, are your parents involved with the situation as far as talking to the teacher about this whole thing?
Yes, they did. My nonna was very cross.
Yeah. So, I mean, has it been resolved? Are you able to use the president, or like what was the result of that?
She said sorry, but I still can't use the president as my account picture.
That's interesting. So is there any kind of rule that says you can't do that, or she just said you can't do it and made that rule up when you wanted to use it?
Yeah, she just made it up so I can't have the president as my profile pic.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's pretty bad. But I'm glad that your parents were able to put the lady in check, because they can't talk to you like that. They got to be respectful. Okay, you can have a difference of opinion, and that's fine, but it's got to be a level of respect. So I'm glad your parents were able to step in and set her right.
Yeah. And my family has condolences that we're sorry for your loss of your father.
Well, I thank y'all for that. I really appreciate it. All right. Well, I thank you for the call.
Thank you.
All right, now y'all take care.
Bye.
Wow. Shout out to the caller, and shout out to your parents. Hey, thank the caller for calling. 11 years old. That's already very aware of what's going on politically, already really aware of what's happening around them. And shout out to your parents, to your grandma, granddad, everybody that's around you. Shout out to them, because they're doing an excellent job. So shout out mom, dad, everybody for doing an excellent job. Fantastic. I love it. All right, that's all I got for tonight. That'll be the last call. If you couldn't get in, it's not my fault. You got to blame the white man. But I'll be back again live soon. Saturday is a funeral, dad's funeral, so I won't be able to be here. But I will be here probably Wednesday next week as far as a live stream. But I'll be putting up videos just, whenever I can. I'll be real busy doing whatever I got to do. But I got super chats to read, and then I'm going to go ahead and wrap it on up, put the bow on the top. Let me see. Hold on one second. Let's go back to where I was. Thank you to was that Santo Bartes, who says, as Zen Master once said, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. In the expert mind, there are few. Prayers for you and your family. Thank you for that. Ian Kinney says, my condolences on your loss. Stay strong. Thank you. Thank you to Bearbait, who says, ABL, what are your thoughts on creating a new political party? The Patriot Party. I'm sick of voting for do-nothing Republicans and rhinos. I kind of answered that earlier a little bit, but make a long story short, to condense that answer, is we got to get a good batch of people that aren't going to be on a Democrat-Republican thing. Because the way it is now, if you start a new political party, it'll just be a group of those that already exist that pretty much would do the same thing that the parties that are out right now would do. So you got to get a good group of people that aren't swamp rats or aren't potential swamp rats, that have not been trained to be swamp rats by their K through 12 and college education. But different story. All right. Let me see. Thank you to Teresa for the donation. Thank you to Wolfgang, who says, bombs that go off a little above the ground do way more damage. Didn't have to be that powerful to cause a rubble in the streets. Talking about Nashville. All right. Matthew says, thank you for the hats off. I'm conservative in Canada, but we don't have a political party. There's a progressive conservative party, but they seem to be more progressive these days. Thank you to Mixed Girl POV, who says, hi, ABL. Do you see me trying to Skype in and call? Yeah, we got that squared away. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Wolfgang for becoming an ABL superstar. Thank you to Wolfgang also, who says, oh, I was robbed in Prague back in October 2019. I was marching with the Korean Republican Party down the streets of Seoul for New Year's. Patient Zero. Bearbait says, got my 1776 hat a few days ago. Love it. Wear it every day. Also, Trump's going to win. There you go. Let me see. Wolfgang says, oh, and then I landed in San Francisco on January 12th. I have a picture on the North Korea, South Korea demilitarized zone, though. I used to live in Japan 2015 and wore a mask. Truth Not Fiction Matters says, reach out to me, sir. I tried to reach out a few times. Happy New Year. Thank you to JVH H-Town for the coffee donation. Thank you to Boz, said the American, who says, notice the good presidents that went against the narrative got assassinated. I'm surprised Trump made it. Lincoln and JFK didn't. Wolfgang says, when I was in South Korea talking to people, I'll write ideas to the White House via website. So yeah, there is a huge narrative for Democrats. He also says, I say, let us build a Stalin statue. It can be a place to throw rotten eggs. Then again, there are those Lenin statues everywhere in Seattle. Theo Fracture 3.0 says, I'm very sorry for your loss. ABL must have been a good father considering how you turned out. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Candace W says, no message, prayer. Dads are a great gift in our lives. Where am I at? Let me go back to where I was. Let me see. Oh, okay. Thank you to Anita who says, hi, ABL. First, my sincerest condolences to you and your family for your loss. My mom is a huge fan of yours. Thanks for all you do. I'm so hopeful President Trump will be reelected. USA strong. Wolfgang says, was going through the old stuff, found a 2012 propaganda letter from Joe Biden. I guess that they used my info to vote in Virginia after I left. Bearbait says, 11-year-old caller, you are wise. When I was his age, our class took a trip to the state capitol. Everyone shook the governor's hand except for me. Your opinion matters. Stay strong, little man. Wow. Woke kids. Shout out to the woke kids. Your mother was a hamster. Great name, says. God bless you and your father. I know he's proud of you. Thank you to Alice Cersei for your donation. I appreciate you. Smiles and a Twisted MD says, the child's more intelligent than 100% of liberals. Prayers and condolences and healing to your family. ABL, hope you and your family heal under God. Thank you. Thank you to Lewis from Spain who says, you won, ABL. Best live shows on the internet's 2020. Hope you win next year too. Happy New Year. Thank you for your very kind words. Shout out to Marcus Edwards who says, hey, ABL, did you hear about the law passed by Andrew Cuomo which prohibits the sale or display of Confederate flags? How is this not an infringement? Yeah, infringement on freedom of speech, right? Second Amendment. It's a bad thing. It just reminds me of the whole Confederate monument banning. People said it's not really a big deal because the Confederates are racist. They own slaves, all this, that, and the third. But the next thing is going to be, oh, well, if you burn a BLM flag, that's a hate crime. See, it's always, they always start with a small thing. And I've said this on this channel for years now. So you guys are smarter than I am. So you already know what time it is. But those that are just now coming into the knowledge and just now becoming woke, as the cool kids say, that, kind of unplug from the matrix and you see what's going on. When you accept the fact that they're going to ban and sell the Confederate flags, then they're going to push in the next thing. It's always going to be the next thing. Always. And you'll see it. You go back to this live stream. Where we at? December 30th, 2020. In 2021, next year, it'll be, oh, you burn a BLM flag, hate crime. They're trying to do that right now in certain parts of the country. They're trying to be a federal thing next year. Thank you to Wolfgang who says, I'll say that all words are simply fumbling of pronounced sounds. An interesting thing about languages, N-word sounds like that one in Chinese. Thank you to Mixed Girl POV who says, hi, ABL again. Thanks for taking my call. At Darla Tidwell, thought we'd make that great team tonight. If you ever want to assist from time to time, just let me know. I got you. Hashtag Dream Team. Thank you to Leo Mazzina for your donation. And thank you to Shane Cormier who says, Anthony, I just released an app that's similar to TikTok, but it's pro-MAGA, pro-free speech. It's called Double Dutch. It's available on Android. Shout out to Max Dominguez who says, glad to say my daughter's 4-H club rode horses in angel costumes up to a retirement home to sing Christmas songs to patients outside. It was beautiful. Oh, man, that is great. Hey, that's a proud dad moment if I ever seen one, man. Shout out to you and your daughter, man. And shout out to Doug Ripley who says, see you next year, man. Sorry for your loss. Oh, it's all good. Happy New Year to you guys. Hopefully you enjoy your holiday. If you're drinking, don't get in your car and drive. Don't do that. I'm calling the authorities on you immediately. I'm going to be that mean with the guy on the phone. I'm that guy. So enjoy yourself, and don't let your governor spoil your fun. If at all possible to not be spoiled, I say do what you want to do. Just be lawful and don't do nothing crazy like get behind the wheel of a car and drinking and driving. And thank you to Devin McInnack who says, ABL donation for funeral music with condolences and love from 2 church musicians. Hey, I thank y'all for that. I appreciate you guys. Alrighty, so that's all I got for tonight. I'll be back live again Wednesday, Saturday. I'll be back in Virginia for Dad's funeral. And thank y'all for all the condolences. I put something on YouTube, like in the community tab, had like tens of thousands of comments. It was crazy. So thank y'all for all of that. My family reads all this stuff too. So it ain't just me, my uncle, my cousins, everybody, they read all this stuff. So they appreciate you guys for your condolences. My wife, the same thing. She appreciates you guys. And I will be back again live Wednesday. but I'll put up videos whenever I can all throughout the week. This helps me to be able to just do what I enjoy doing and not be focused on just the bad things that are going on. You know, it's a whole lot happening this year. It's been a year of ups and downs for me and for a lot of you guys as well. You had the virus shutting everything down, but then again, it was a good professional year. You know, made a lot of good connections, met a lot of great people, got married, got this new crib and all of that, got my nice truck outside, but then lost my dad, lost my uncle too. I told you guys about my uncle and my dad. They were born on the same day, June 19th. Not my father's brother, my father's uncle. So Granny's brother. He died after his birthday. He was born on Juneteenth. He died like 5 days later. And then dad died Christmas Day. So it's just crazy. It was a great year and a bad year at the same time. Probably the worst and best year. But I enjoy doing this right here. It keeps my mind occupied and doing the thing I enjoy. I could just not do YouTube and just be like, all right, I'm going to just sit around, lay on the bed, but I don't want to do that. I want to stay active and, you know, be functional. And that's what I'm doing. So I thank y'all for doing what you do and being here. All righty. So that's all I got for you guys. Until next time. Oh, and shout out to the mods, of course. You guys do a great job. I can't forget about y'all. Is that just Kane Sword, Killer Sushi, Ansel, Bill from the Hills, all you guys. Thank you for doing what you do. Liza Jean. That's all I got for real this time. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.